And that
wasn't me.
It came through Facebook. It did.
What? Wasn't me again.
It did. It did. There's something happened because.
Oh, that's good. We don't know audio. It's bad good, Dwayne.
It worked out.
That's what I was checking to make sure it's there because I never would have done that if everything was working. Of course not.
Okay, so we can start over.
Professional.
See, told y'all people this is live. So what's happening, people? It's Classic Konversations with Jae Tea and Lo.
And that's a cop. We outside.
And we are back, man. Not we, but Ask a Cop is back. And we are back too because we started a little early, but y'all didn't hear us, but we're starting over again. So listen, man, we're about to get this thing going. It's 8:30ish. We're going to get this show going. Need for you to hit those buttons to the side, those like buttons, the love buttons, the hug buttons, the mad buttons. You can hit the cry buttons. It doesn't matter because either way it helps our
algorithm
go up and up. Because I've been telling you, we are on Amazon Music, we are on Spotify, and we are also on YouTube. Just need you to go hit the button and subscribe. For those of you that don't know, all subscriptions don't cost. Usually you hear subscription, you think, oh man, it's gonna be free for 30 days, then they're gonna ask for my credit card information, I'm gonna have to spend $5.99 a month. No, this is free. It's free support. Please just hit the button. Telephone number 404-500-1605. So let's get it going. Angelo, how was your week, bro?
Well. So this was a tale of two weekends for me. I'm going to start with the low note so I can go forward, right? So, in the comedy world, in the music world, the rap world, entertainment industry, lost another one. For this particular area, this is in 12 months, the fifth person in the comic world to pass away. So this guy wasn't a comedian, although he was hilarious. He wasn't a rapper, but he had no business. So my man Clay Evans, Vice President of Grand Hustle, CEO of Rubicon Entertainment, the manager of T.I., manager of Lil Duval, and the list goes on and on. Lost his battle this past Friday. So it's kind of sad. Now I won't say kind of. It's very sad. Because to know Uptown, right, you would know back in the day on Marietta Street we had a thing called Tripping on Tuesdays. And Tripping on Tuesday was simply the hottest night in the city. I mean, it went down. Yeah. And Tripping on Tuesday was created from a conversation by me and that same Clay Evans. And then he brought it back to when we opened back up to Tripping on Sundays. And but like I said, he also he was at the beginning of stages of Grand Hustle. You know, all the things you see them guys doing, you know, Dro, everybody you had to go through this guy Clay. You know, I was driving this afternoon and on Sirius Satellite Radio, they did a shout out to Clay. You know what I mean? On every news channel, all over the globe, man, this guy was known. You know, also managed Travis Scott. You know, I mean, this guy was a bad boy. But he was here every Sunday if he wasn't out of town, you know what I mean? And you wouldn't even know who he was, you know what I mean? He was just a cool dude. So, man, he was my Sunday partner because it was always at the end of Sunday nights at the comedy club, sitting in the office, it normally would be me, Nard, and Clay. You know what I'm saying? And both of them guys are now gone, man. My Sundays will never be the same. So, but on a high note, Phoenix, and I saw the time, I'm going to go fast. No, I'm not. I'm not going fast.
Don't go fast with this one.
Because My man Tyler Perry was in the building.
Yes,
I saw that.
Jae Tea.
That was after.
You missed one, didn't you, Jae Tea?
the weekend I don't show up.
Sitting
That man been unseen as Jae
sitting
Tea,
right
man.
beside me last week, we
Yep.
talked about one beautiful Jasmine Brown who was going to be here. And Mr. Jae Tea said, I'm going to be here for that.
Yep.
And had he been here for that, and we just talked about him running into who?
Oh no.
Tyler
You missed
Perry.
it.
Yeah,
I
dog,
wasn't here.
Jae Tea, I
Yep.
thought about, and I was like, man, Jae Tea not here. But
Missed that boat.
It's okay.
there'll be another opportunity.
That ain't okay.
It's coming.
That one hurt. It's coming.
It's coming.
That
But
one
we
hurt.
also talked about the young lady Crystal,
Yep.
and she was here. And boy, was she here.
I know she was. I know she was.
Hey, man, listen.
I know she was. Oh,
Man, her and Jasmine, man. And then a dose of Tyler Perry. Hey, man, it was a good weekend.
Look, you miss your friend.
I do. I hate my friend wasn't here, but you know, but he know all them people anyway. You know.
They go in a better place.
Yeah. I mean, there was a
Blessings keep
time
coming.
about Clay, right? It was some dude was trying to flex all the people he knew, and so he said something slick to Clay, right? And Clay said, "Hey, man, don't make me pull out my phone." Clay started with Michael Jordan. Dude like, oof. Then Clay came back with him sitting with the rings on the finger of Tom Brady. Hey, buddy had to just sit down at that point. And then Clay said, nah, don't run.
Wait a minute.
And then he come back with a picture of him and Obama. Hey, I say, bro, you lost this battle a long time ago.
You lost.
Whatnot. So anyway, dope weekend, man. Dope weekend. Oh man, my man.
yeah, that one hurt. That one. Yeah. You sent that picture, boy. Oh, boy. Oh.
I know it, brother. I know it, brother.
MJ.
So let's go somewhere.
How can I follow that? Because I looked down, I was like, damn, I wish I was there. I don't want to.
You didn't
I
invite
thought you
me.
died when you
Hey,
saw that
dude,
shit.
what? And
When I saw it, I said,
and
the
I
first thing I
actually-
thought about, I bet JT was like,
Hey,
look,
man,
Cassie.
I actually sat right here and I said, man, I'm going to come on through for that.
Yep.
And then we remembered we had a birthday celebration to go to, and that's where we went at. And
And it was beautiful. I did see that too.
yeah,
King and queen, amen.
it was beautiful,
Yes.
but
I know. Tyler wasn't there though.
Stop
He trying to make it sound like you won. You don't already know where he at with it. He like, it was like, you know what he like? Yeah, it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
it. I'm being Christian.
oh,
It was still great. You did something really great. Amen.
She had to say that. She saw
so
your
yeah,
face.
MJ, how was your weekend? Or your week? Well, I mean, you ain't got that much time, but you've been gone for a month. So
Basically, I just say this, and I know I hear y'all talk about it all the time, and I can't really feel you, but when you have a loved one and they're not doing good, it's the most effed up feeling in the world. I'll just leave it like that so I can finish the show. I just leave it like
Understood. We all send our prayers to y'all on here
for
last week, man.
sure. Sugar Sean.
Yo, we outside. Yeah, I just want to give a shout out because I lost a close one this weekend. My real close homie. I grew up with him, my man Big J. You know, that was a tough one. You know, we lost him on Sunday. He just had a heart attack and just died. So, he was like, I know he probably wasn't going to the doctors and all that. You know, he just 46 years old. He checked up out of here.
Wow.
But, you know, it's part of the life. So, I'll be back in Brooklyn. You know, I got to get back, you know what I'm saying, and get out to that. But other than that, things been great, man. My little man playing football. Little Shug is showing me some good stuff. So I've been out there a lot on the football situation. I'm starting to see my daughter giving me looks that I ain't been popping up. But I'm like, she like, oh, well, Dave, you play football now, so now you don't got nothing to do with basketball. I'm like, I'm just saying, you know. So I'm excited about that, man. He's shown a lot of promise, and a lot of people getting excited about him. So we just gonna keep this train going. And my daughter being in Memphis this weekend, so I got to figure out how to get there and then get back for him. I'll make it happen. I'm super dad. But other than that, I'm excited because we outside and tonight was packed and yo, it's gonna be crazy. I was so happy, but Tyler wasn't there, but he sent some people. I think they must have seen the video or the picture.
all night.
Just a goddamn one. I like to beat up.
Word, I'm like, I'm with Dean cousin. Yeah, I'm putting the picture up in all the posts with Angelo Tyler Perry. On Tuesday night, y'all know what y'all just missed at the Uptown Comedy Corner.
That's hilarious.
Tyler Perry in the building.
We'll have them coming out here every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. They're gonna have every actor in Atlanta on Tuesday looking for Tyler Perry.
Just put a tall person over in
I'm
VIP
over there with a wig
and
on.
don't put the lights on. Everybody thinking that's him.
He's in. I'm keeping the same picture up every week.
Oh, man.
Too funny.
I'm gonna put myself in the post in the back, like my hands out or something.
Tease, how was your week, brother? Outside of Tyler Perry, what now?
I was about to say. Oh man, yeah, that was a downer. Had another downer, man. We had this storm this week. This hailstorm came through on Sunday, damaged all of my cars, every last one of them. And I'm not talking about a dent here and a dent there. There are dents like a checkerboard
When they held down
all
the road.
throughout the cars, man. All three of them just, yeah. So dealing with that because I didn't see it until actually today is when I actually saw it. So I'm dealing with that. Got to put the claims in and everything for that. It's going to be interesting to see what they do because these things are all on the roof of the car. It's not just the hood and the trunk. It's all on the hood of the car. Glasses popped. Yeah, it's going to be quarter panels messed up. It's going to be interesting to see what the insurance does with these. So, yeah, we see how that. Other than that, man, Mr. Tyler, college basketball is popping. It's pretty good weekend. Before we go to break real quick, we got our special guest. Miss Kat Coles is in the building. Should I call you a momager?
No.
Thank you. You know what? Speaker, come up into the mic. You know what? I'm glad you said that because I remember when things blew up and a lot of parents had their kids modeling and acting, they became momagers, and I thought it was whack. So I'm so glad that
Very
you said
whack.
no. Okay. All right. So go ahead. Introduce yourself, young
So
lady.
in that time, we met one another. First, I met who is now your wife, and then we got to know one another because my son was modeling, and he was a kid, and you were always really supportive of him, and I appreciated it. Yeah, so momager, or the definition of momager, is kind of to me where the mom is thinking, I'm going to work my child and make some money. And that's not my thing. I'm a mother. So my son came to me and said what he wanted to do. At the time, I said I didn't want to. Lo knows the story a little more than you do, but I took care of my mom for a lot of years, and my son was born into that. So when I got a chance to be a mom, whatever he said, I'm like, okay, I want to do it, but I was still kind of figuring it out. So I was like, not right now. But he learned that he had an opportunity, and I didn't do it. And so he made it very, very real for me that this was his life. Yeah.
And it was easy to grab him and guide him the right way because anytime I did a show with him, he actually was well behaved, waiting on instruction to do what he was supposed to do, compared to some others that was just running around doing whatever the hell they wanted to do. So that's why it was really easy. So we commend you on that. We got to get ready to go to break, but we commend you on that. Start off with, because I can tell them I'm a witness to how well behaved your son is.
Thank you.
With that, we'll be right back. Give us 3 minutes. We'll be right back and get this topics going.
So much drama in the LBC. It's kind of hard being Snoop D or Double G, but I somehow, some way keep coming up with funky rhymes every single day.
Nah, it's out of control, bro. It is out of control. Huh?
Man, that has bothered you, boy.
Hell yeah. All that stuff, the over-sexualization.
There's a lot more men that like that. They just don't want people to know.
You see,
they would never admit.
here she go with this nonsense. Like, yo,
That's true now because the comedians be saying junk on stage all the time about how many of y'all got your buddy, boy.
you ain't never heard me say that.
I ain't say you.
Oh, I'm just saying, yeah, I gotta put it out there. You said comedians. I'm like,
heard
I'm
you
saying,
saying
I ain't talk about nothing playing in, nobody getting none of this man pussy. It's not happening.
Alrighty then.
Top 5.
What?
All right, y'all, we back. We back. Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Lo.
And that's a cop.
Boy,
We
this
outside.
boy, see, he been off for a couple of weeks, and he is on time like crazy tonight. Boy, he talking about one thing and leaning back into the mic to say, ask a cop. Boy, he on time tonight. Boy. Oh.
How long is that gonna last?
You'll get used to the seat again. You get used to it again. 404-500-1605, man. Give us a telephone call. Also, like I said, hit those buttons. Let me make sure I say it right. Like, love, care, laugh, wow, cry, angry. Hit all them buttons because it's going to help our
Algorithm.
go up. And I've already told you, Spotify, Amazon Music, and also YouTube. Hit the button, subscribe. So listen, before we went to break, I was talking to Kat. Now, one thing that I'm noticing about Kat is that sometimes you have to pull some things up out of her. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to pull some things up out of you, young lady. So first off, talk about your son, Jalen.
Yes.
So go ahead and, let us know some of the things that he's up to, what he's got going. I know that I just saw that he got booked for something recently.
We're going to talk about the play that you guys are in first.
Okay. God Guys, yeah.
God Guys,
Mhm.
Nay, Stubbs,
Yeah.
Chuck Brown,
Yep.
AA. Okay, so he's coming back. We saw you there. You really surprised me when you decided to say, I know that child and I know his mom.
Yeah.
And I want to tell everybody what I know about them, and it was great. So I appreciate you so much for that. Amen.
Not a problem. Not a
Yes.
problem. It's easy to do, like I said. Yeah.
And so now this is coming, and you are going to be one of the full cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, forward cast, top cast, amen, for God Guys, which is a sold-out show. Every time it came up, it sold out. So you have to know his talent is incredible. I love you already.
Father's Day weekend, y'all. I'm telling you, get those tickets. Got
Yeah.
4 shows. Get the tickets. They
See, if
sold
you'd
out the
been
last
here
time.
this
They're going to sell out
weekend, Tyler
again.
Perry would have known
It
that
sold
time.
out 3 different
That's a
days.
fact.
Yes, it did.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yes,
Biggest
so
miss in life.
Shout out to
Tyler would have known.
Okay. So what else is he doing?
This past weekend was so incredible. He had an opportunity. He was in another play. It was Are You My Daddy? That was at the Radio Condry place. They had it, and so it sold out show. And he played a young guy that was a child that didn't know who his father was. They had some ratchet moms in there. There was some stuff that went on that touched some folks. It was beautiful. And after that, it was beautiful, even though we had some ratchetness. But it was a real story. And after that, he had City Lights. It was a fashion show.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say that sounds familiar. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And they called him the youth commentator. So what he ended up doing, though, I don't know what he was supposed to do, but he ended up interviewing so many people. Every time someone left the runway, he was there doing a picture. Oh,
Nice.
we're going to make sure we share it with you guys.
Nice.
The edits. He did interviews for those that created the show, and he also walked. So it was incredible. You had to see him change, get out of it, put it back on, and get back out there to work. So that's what we do.
So real quick, so Ms. Cat Cole,
Yes.
folks had reached out to me, and apparently been trying to reach out to me for a while.
Years. Yes, years.
I just said a while. We can let it a while.
Years.
But and it was ironic because we've had several great conversations, and she had no idea, TZ, that about you and I. The podcast, the French, and nothing. You know what I mean? So it was just ironic how worlds kind of fall into place.
Yeah.
That you've known her there, that I've
Yep.
met over here, and it's like, and look where we are sitting here.
And you remember, right? I came in, we were meeting just to talk
Just
about
to talk
what
about
we were
what
going to talk about.
100%.
And I came in and I saw what I said was over here.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold up. Because I told him, I said, I heard of that. Classic Konversations. I heard of that. I heard of it. And then when he showed me this room and I saw the picture, which was over here,
Yeah.
I said, hold up.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Small world, man. So you talked about a lot about what you have going on with your son, but tell us a little bit about how that is for you, being now a single mom and trying to make all these things, these dreams come true. How was that for you?
Okay, so now it is life.
Okay.
It's been going on for a long time. I told you about my mom. So I've come from being a caretaker of my mom. And then my son, I got that opportunity to be mom, not just to be mom. You know, it's different when you have something else going on. I was a great mom, but now it's about him. So now it's just life, and everything that goes on is almost just guiding his path is not as normal as it was when I was a kid, right? Because we're together all the time.
Right.
Some of the things that he's doing, I forget.
Easy to do.
I really do. We do stuff, and it's incredible, and I'm celebratory at that moment. But we are living, so it's not a reason. We don't do it for likes, right? A lot of time we are able to touch other people's lives. Even at the show this past weekend, there's a little boy. When he does his edits, I'm gonna tell him, how do we do that circle on this little boy? That little boy is looking at my son, and there's something in his eyes, right? So he saw my son go from commentator to whatever he had to do to build up his little set, what he was going to do, to the one that went out on the runway to do his thing and come back and work some more. That little boy is looking at my son. That means something, right? So for me, which is why you have me here, I think, because who are you? I'm a person that came from a different type of life, especially as a girl. Especially as a girl. And it wasn't always easy. I wasn't always liked. And I did a lot of things that were great, but people didn't like me. So I learned how to turn that into what was good for me. I left home by 17. I thought I was going to the military. I planned for it at 14. I thought I was going in to be a paralegal, and I'm going to get my law degree. So I got into the military. They said, we want you to take a test. And from there, I became the first black woman as a linguist for Tagalog and for Chinese Mandarin with the government. See, a lot of people wouldn't know that because in my life, I couldn't celebrate me. So right now, I'm glad to be here, and I'm going to start to celebrate me, and I thank you.
Absolutely.
So you speak Chinese?
I don't speak Chinese anymore.
Ni hao.
Ni hao ma.
Oh, yeah, look, it just came out, right? She's like, ni hao ma. Yeah, right. Yeah.
But, the conversational has left a little bit. I used to know how to write. I did all of it. But I didn't hold on to it. There was no one that I could even share it with.
That's a good one to go back and get, though. You go back and
Yeah. Or you go to a Chinese restaurant to practice.
When they talk, I know what they're saying, kinda.
Oh, what about the nail
That's the cap
salon?
for you.
So when you go to the nail salon, you already know when they be talking
They're
trash.
Korean most of the time.
Oh, so it's not the
Yeah.
It is very different.
It's very different. My bad.
Yes,
Dag,
you
I
can't
did.
classify all people.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you see-
These are the views of Sugar
see how
Sean.
you
Oh,
do it?
I was just
You
getting ready
Trump
to do it.
you.
Dag.
Lordy.
I've been hanging out with Trump. Dang it. Oh, man.
I just want to get a little bit deeper right here.
Uh-oh.
You went there, so I got to go there, right? So you said you could not celebrate you. Give me a little bit. Why is that? Why was that you couldn't celebrate you? That's what you're here for.
She's about to say it in Chinese.
I am my mother's child.
Okay.
I look like my mom. Whatever goes on in life, I'll leave it at that, kind of, but whatever goes on in life, I am my mom's child. I look like my mom. I was told I look like her, I talk like her, I walk like her, I act like her, and it wasn't really welcomed, so.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
In other words, leave it alone. Yeah.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I thank you.
Well-
I don't mind telling you. It's just I'm not used to it. And one day maybe I'll talk more.
Okay.
So thank you.
Okay. Respect.
Yeah.
Ni hao.
So now you're doing a lot of things with him, and he's a comedian. We gotta excuse him sometimes.
I love it.
So as the
I
mother.
wanted to say Hun Hao. I think that's it.
What is it? Unha?
You got
Hun
the,
Hao.
When I went to China,
I'm very good.
yeah,
How
Unha.
good are you? And I'm saying I'm very good. Hun Hao.
Yeah,
Hun
well-
Hao. It's been a long time though.
When I went to China, I had
It
this.
was 1990. I'm 50.
You 50?
Yeah.
You look great.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm 45.
Yes.
Yo, we doing good. Big things out here.
Yes.
We outside. I went to China. I had to use facial emojis because I couldn't understand what they were saying.
Exactly.
I like me, patron.
Oh, no.
And I using the
I don't
accent.
know what you talking about.
That's what they did. They like he's the
he don't either.
Yeah, he said he don't need- I went to China. Yo, have you been to China?
No, I just no.
I went to
Hong Kong.
You went to Hong Kong?
Yeah, I've been
So
to
when
Hong
you went, right? Well, I walked in there. I had to go use the bathroom. So I go inside. I thought it was broke because there was a hole in the floor. So I walked out.
Yeah.
Right, and they all looking at me. So I went to the next one. I like, nah, something wrong. Then I seen the
just
thing
the
you
hole,
gotta
man.
hold on to.
Just the
I respect
hole.
all women that y'all squat outside and pee. Cause I had my arms was shaking. Yeah. I was like, yo, this ain't no joke. Then I'm looking for toilet paper. They got little. I stopped.
I was probably 14 the last time that I had to stop on the side of the road in the car and do that. But I was with my sister and we were traveling and we had to do it right there. So we did it.
Oh, squat it
But I haven't
down?
done it since.
Yo, you ain't doing it. Now I have to do it again though. My legs was trembling. I can't squat like that. It was serious,
Yeah.
and they was just laughing at me.
Women are incredible.
I believe, of course.
You couldn't have a baby either, but you know.
No. Well, y'all couldn't have one without us, so you know that.
That's true.
You're
That's not what they
It-
saying now.
That's
yeah,
true.
without us, you ain't having no baby
But
neither.
look, be careful of those labs. They doing all kinds of stuff.
You don't want that baby. You don't want that baby. That's gonna be like a Chinese mix with. That's gonna be different.
Okay, so listen, I'm gonna
Yes.
say this.
Beef and broccoli.
I said this thing about 2 episodes ago in regards to celebrating yourself. Can't nobody else do it like you. So remember that part. Always celebrate yourself. Yes, celebrate your son, but make sure that you celebrate yourself while you're doing that, all right? Congratulations to him, though, for being casted in Lumps. It's a film by David Nixon Jr. I just saw that he just got that casting today. It was just posted today.
Actually, it's not a casting.
it-
It is accepted with the Atlanta Film Festival. He's the
Yes.
lead.
That's
Amen.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
yeah.
Correction.
Make sure that you keep us informed about that, when it's going to happen, when the premiere is, whatever. Try and make
I
sure
don't
we
know
give
a
the
lot
support.
about it, but as soon as I understand,
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure you know.
Yeah, please make sure that you let us know.
That's awesome.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
big time on that. So, okay, we're gonna get started on some stuff that we can just, give our opinions on and talk about. Then we're gonna start off with Jonathan Majors. We just had on the show. We was talking about it. Was it last week? We was talking about sexual assault. If somebody does an allegation and find out that it's false, should they be charged, that type of thing. Well, Jonathan Majors just got charged with assault. But now she's taking the allegations back. Supposedly what happened was they was in a car. She had an episode. He called 911. The police got there. I don't know if she said that he did something. Either way, he got arrested.
See?
And now she's taking the allegations back. Supposedly she had a mental episode type of thing, and he called 911. But again, this happened Saturday night, and it went like wildfire because his commercial just came out, his Army commercial, just started airing during the NCAA tournament. Creed, of course.
Yeah.
The boy killed it in Creed. They was talking about, how well he played the crazy dude in Creed, and now here he is,
With an ass.
supposedly hitting on a woman.
You see,
So
that's
they
crazy.
just ran with the narrative, and in 2 days, bro, it just took off like wildfire. So this is already out there.
Army pulled the sponsorship already.
Yeah, pulled it.
Pulled all the spots.
You can't pull that back when something
like
like
that.
that happens. You know what I'm saying? So, what do you guys think about, how people can somebody with the power of the tongue just like that can just mess you up?
I got something to add to that because obviously I wasn't here the last couple of weeks, and there's a couple of topics I wanted to chime in on, but especially that when there's a reason why they don't prosecute false allegations. Because there was a time when when a woman got on the stand and she accused somebody of rape, they would ask her what was she wearing. They would look into her sexual history. They would look at things that she's done in the past, and they made women feel like they were on trial. So in law enforcement and DA officers around the country, they do not prosecute false allegations of rape. Because if they do, women won't come forward. And I know it's great to sit up here and call out the guy because it was a bad timing for him. And if it was false, great. But if you've ever worked sex crimes or been around sex crimes, a lot of times when allegations of rape and sexual misconduct are recanted, it's typically because either money was paid or the woman gets back home, her husband could have beat her ass 292 times. But when she realizes, damn, who's going to take care of the kids in private school? It's not just a black issue or a poor issue. When domestic violence and things and sexual battery, things of that nature, transcend all races. So when you have a situation like that, I wanted to call it Michelle, what I was busy with. But that part of it, I know it sounds bad, but it's a reason why they don't prosecute people of false allegations. Because for every time you're saying that, oh man, you want to go out and pick those 5 times, you got to look at the times when it's true.
Mm-hmm. I get it. I do.
They should go to jail.
But I think it would, Angela, I think you made a point of
Lock their ass up.
the way his news spread and the news of, what was it, Dana White?
Dana White.
The way his spread, which really didn't spread. How long did it take for them to really do anything to him? Did they do anything?
They
do nothing.
didn't do anything to Dana White. All he did was do a half-baked apology. He didn't lose any sponsorships. They ain't lost one dime. He had to pay no penalty. Nothing's happened to him outside of a couple of days of conversation. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he physically, there was no question about that assault. You know, although she hit all that stuff, but the bottom line is there was still force. This was an accusation with no clear evidence. And they just trying to ruin this man's career. I'm talking about at the peak of his career. Yeah. And it didn't waste any time doing it. But again, I say,
but you know,
it's our people.
He said it, and it sure was.
It's our people.
Exactly.
But can he press charges if he's considered, once he's considered innocent, he could press charges for false allegations?
I just speak for the metro Atlanta area. Yeah. You're not going to get a DA to pick that case.
See, man, that's crazy,
if he does anything, which I don't think he will, it's civil, right? But I don't think he will because supposedly these folk,
those women should be locked up for that type of nonsense because you know you ain't getting raped. You shouldn't be doing that.
I don't know if she actually said he did something or if the police, because of there was marks on both of them, just took him in.
That was there. See,
that part. There was marks on him.
If she,
where were the marks at?
If she recanted her statement, that means she said something.
That's a fact.
Yeah, good point.
And also, if there's visible marks,
it's taking back her allegation. So yeah.
Man, they had a rough time and something. Which
it
the
doesn't
police
work like
pulled
that
up
because by law, if there's marks on either party, you're supposed to charge. Now, when there's marks on both parties, they're both supposed to be charged. But if you can clearly see which one is the aggressor, you're supposed to charge that person. The woman can't change it later. That goes back into domestic violence. A lot of women are battered, and you can, they're taking ass whooping year after year after year because they're thinking about their kids.
But this is about, she said she raped us, so it's like rough sex or something happened. That's why I said with the marks, when she got hit on the ass or something like that.
Things that can happen, and I don't want to slander the brother, but I also don't want to slander the female because nobody's going out to defend her.
But if she gonna take a statement back and say she ain't get raped, then she ain't get raped.
I just want to I can't stand when people play naive to the facts. Nah. When you got that money, that's like, what did everybody say
got no
back
money.
in the day with Tyson? What did everybody say back in the day with Tyson? They said Tyson should have dropped $1 million on that girl and shut up if he had anybody really in his camp. It could have been a situation like that, but we don't know, so we can't sit up here and say, or it could be innocent where it just didn't happen. But the reality of it is, if she felt strong enough at that time to make a statement, the police officer had to do exactly what he did, especially if there was marks on her indicating physical violence. So now people want to recant it later. It's the same thing. It happens all the time with domestic violence. When that woman, the bruises start going down and she realized, I got bills to pay, I got this to pay. So everybody's worrying about this guy because he's a superstar, but the reality of it is, it's real. Now the Dana White situation, they've done that time and time again with every owner other than the one that made racial slurs to his girlfriend. You got to look at the Dallas Cowboys owner. You got to look at the Patriots owner. You got misconduct, allegations of sexual misconduct. And the big one, Roethlisberger.
Yo, listen. If you say,
There you go.
if she says you can't,
And it wasn't sexual assault.
it was a sexual assault.
It wasn't sexual assault. It was just assault and harassment. It was supposedly
That
a
shows
How does
coming
that
in.
rape?
Trust
Where
me,
does
number
rape
one,
thing
that
come in?
shows
it's
coming.
just assault.
It wasn't rape.
It wasn't rape. It was just assault.
Oh, then I'm out of this one. I thought it was rape.
We as a people
Said it was rape.
saw assault and added sexual to it
Oh.
and ran with it.
Oh, because it was a rape thing, a sexual thing. Then that's different.
But
All right.
that falls under,
But I still think if you didn't get raped and you said somebody raped you and you didn't get raped and it comes out you didn't get raped, you should go to jail. How could that you ruining somebody's life?
because how it comes happens a lot of
You
times.
telling me that's not right?
No, what I'm saying, and I'm not saying this right, but what I'm saying is,
Got
if
'em.
you look at the situations that a lot of women are put in, and the way women have been mistreated forever, the way Biden called those Asians and Pacific Islanders.
All right.
Women were protected that same way because of years of misconduct during prosecutions.
Okay.
Where they were put on trial.
Ms. Cat, what's your thoughts on this?
She with me.
I'm with you, but I'm also with women that don't know how to speak up, and then they speak up and they are ignored. So I believe that women
Stay on the
who
mic.
are lying,
Stay on the mic.
I'm sorry.
Stay on
I
it.
believe that women that are lying and it's known that they're lying, there should be some consequence. It's hard to tell when they're lying. If they came forward and then said, I take it back, that don't mean they're lying. Abuse is a hard thing no matter how it comes. And most people have 40 years later of a situation. I don't agree with that. Right? I don't.
So you
But
don't agree with what happened to Bill Cosby?
I'm not saying that. Back, and it really two situations did he have 13? Maybe, but and he's
No, they hope you just rape. Shit. Rape.
Getting there.
Come up.
So much drama in the LBC. It's kind of hard being Snoop D-O-double G, but I somehow, some way keep coming up with funky rhymes every single day.
Nah, it's out of control, bro.
Wait,
It is out of control. Huh?
man, that has bothered you, boy.
Hell yeah. All that stuff, the
There's a
over-sexualization.
lot more men that like that. They just don't want people to know.
You see,
They would never admit
here she go with this nonsense. Like, yo,
That's true now because the comedians be saying junk on stage all the time about how many of y'all got your buddy, boy.
you ain't never heard me say that.
I ain't say you.
Oh, I'm just saying, yeah, I gotta put it out there. You said comedians. I'm like,
heard
I'm
you
saying,
back again.
I ain't talk about nothing playing in, nobody getting none of this man pussy. It's not happening.
Alrighty then.
Top 5.
What?
Yep, we back, man. Classic Konversations with Jae Tea and Lo.
And that's a cop.
I ain't seen that background in a while.
Right. 404-500-1605. You see it right there on the screen. Scared of the death.
Hilarious.
Hey, man, give us a call, talk about some of this stuff. Got some comments on it. Put some comments on our lives. You know, this is interactive. Let's speak about it. You got some comments on your joint?
Yeah, so Kiki shouted out earlier that this just shows how the law is against men, in my opinion. I don't get it. The law is making it okay to lie. It is not fair to the falsely accused. Number one said, what have I said about black men getting involved with white women? They lie. Any woman who lies about being assaulted should be prosecuted. We'll talk about a show we're going to do in the near future. And she said these women need to be criminally and civilly charged. And that's the main thing I think they got to do. You got to at least go to the civil. Even if you don't do the criminal, put a lawsuit against them jokers. You know what I mean? Make them have to spend some money and put that kind of pressure on them. The same way they're going to put it on you. That's my opinion on it, you know.
Yeah, because as Asker Cop said, in regards to sexual assault, something like that, if sex actually happened, it's really hard to prove whether or not it was rape or not. Mm-hmm. So
That's why you can be careful
now
what you do with it.
a DA can say it's not enough evidence for me to move forward, but it's still hard to prove. But if it didn't happen, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No,
Yeah,
go ahead.
so like a light bulb just
Yeah,
went off.
just go ahead.
But if it didn't, in my view, if no sex happened at all and you claim rape, not sexual harassment or sexual assault, rape, then I think that's really a problem. But I do understand why they don't go. Listening to you, I do understand why they don't turn around and throw those charges out there, because it could end up muting somebody that actually did get raped. So I do understand that part of it too.
You understand the premise behind it for sure.
Yeah.
I understand the premise behind it. I was just thinking about the, I don't know if y'all saw that TCU coach and how he talked to his kids.
About faith? No, that wasn't.
You saw that video? What he told him about, see if you can pull that video up, Dwayne, and play it later, man, because this TCU coach went in on him and just told him about no when she says no, and it was just some stuff that needs to be said to our young men more often and very, very direct.
I mean,
You know what I mean? It was very, very direct. He said exactly needs to be said. Wasn't no sugarcoating it. He said, however it happens here, if it happens, I don't care what you did in the car, if it may be different by the time you get to the house. And if it's different, it's different. Don't, you know what I mean? It was some
I
good
want to
stuff.
say something.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm raising a son, right?
100%.
There, back in the day, was a time that there was this awesome athlete in Georgia.
South Georgia, yeah, I remember that.
He was athletic in sports with 3 different sports, but he also was a top student, and he had all types of scholarships.
Parade Magazine All-American, how you talking about, yeah.
Yeah. And
go
then,
ahead. Go, just,
I don't care. And then,
It's some
and
Instagram
then
junk, though.
there is a girl that had him come
That
to a
wasn't the regular ring.
trailer at the school. They had sex. Now, it came out years later, after he lost his scholarship, lost his livelihood, everything that he was doing had gone even to jail. He's out. But the young girl ended up coming back later and saying it didn't happen that way. She pulled him into the situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she was 16. They went into a trailer.
And he was
She-
18,
they
right?
were caught. Yeah, they were caught, and basically they charged him with statutory rape.
Yeah.
He ended up going to Hampton, but he was Parade
Yeah.
Magazine All-American. He was the next big thing coming out of Georgia, and he ended up going to Hampton. I think he signed. I don't know if he stayed stuck with an NFL team,
I don't
but
think
that
he was
dude.
able to go.
yeah, he
Oh,
did.
no, he went.
Yeah, he went
to
after he
Hampton.
got out of jail.
Yeah, he went to
Yeah.
Hampton Institute.
And
Okay.
and,
Yeah,
and, he did, like you said, he did sign with the team, but I don't think he.
He didn't go.
Yeah,
Because you messed
with
up
that.
after you go to
Yeah.
jail.
But that happened a lot
Yeah.
of times.
Happens
statutory.
way too many
And that's
times.
one thing, but, piggybacking on what y'all are saying, but on the other tip on the domestic violence, single mothers out there, or parents in general, but dads always tell their sons, or should tell their sons that, teach your sons to keep their hands off women. And because it's because I've heard women say this, and you see it online and everything else. Well, if she hit my son, I'm gonna tell him to hit him back. How can you say that when women are with weaker sex? There's no woman, unless she's Ronda Rousey, or actual MMA chick, that could go around with me without me knocking her ass out. But that's nothing to be proud of. You got to teach your sons to show restraint. The same effort you use to hit her, you can use to restrain her. So no matter what happened with that football player, unless it's like they actually said it was, getting ready to lose your boyfriend, boom, boom, you're going to switch stuff up, because you see it happen a lot of times. But if you teach your sons just don't put their hands on women, it won't be an issue. Period. Be a man, walk away. That's the big thing.
You might know about scars or bruises or something because it was brought up. I don't know that happened with it, but you may know. But if what he said is true. If she just said, "Oh, I'm screaming, he did something to me," and he didn't.
Let's see.
That is not
and
okay.
a lot of times in those type of situations, because one happened in, was it Cobb County or Douglas County years ago?
Douglas County definitely had.
Yeah, sometimes it's just once
The parents find
the
out.
parents find out, the little young lady usually
Young
does not
lady.
want
That
to
was a
say,
Kobe Bryant
does not
situation.
want to say I wanted it,
Yeah, that
and
is
they'll
right
flip
there.
it, and that's because that happened in it was in Douglas County, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened in Douglas County. Same thing. That was like what about 12 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, because I think statutory rape shouldn't even be used in high school. As being in law enforcement, you see a lot of situations. I think when it's 18-year-old that attends the same school, you got to look at it totally different, because that's when it's normally used. I think it should be used when it's an adult, anybody out of high school
it's using-
that's sleeping with an underage girl. But when it's kids that have known each other for 5 years, been dating for 5 years, you also got to put in the parents are both aware of a situation, things of that situation. All of a sudden, that kid's life is torn from him. You know,
You
I think
may-
it's more, maybe they need to look at it more on a case-by-case basis, but like I said before on the show, rape on any level is the only charge where verbal, no, absolutely no evidence has to be present and you'll be charged. Now, later on, when you're saying one thing happened and there's no physical evidence being laid for it not to get a true bill or maybe not even, dismiss the DA. Well, if it's a good DA, is going to put it to grand jury and get two no bills, so it can never come back up again. But at the very least, it can be dismissed. But the only issue with that, the person doesn't get their time back. But you still got to look at it the opposite way. It's one of those situations when a date rape, that type of stuff happens. When you start just saying carte blanche, we're going to prosecute anybody that comes forward, the first thing any woman's going to think is, do I have enough evidence? And when a person's traumatized to that nature, then, it's going to be hard for her to decide, okay, I just got raped, but I did tell him to come up to my room, and it's 2 o'clock at night, and I just want to have drinks and watch Netflix, is what he said he was going to do, and a rape occurred. That's what date rape is. So now that girl, because it's hurting people's feelings because somebody's a superstar or bounces a basketball, she doesn't have the right to come forward. You don't want that to start happening.
The only problem with that is sometimes someone is not having the situation you said, and they're
In the microphone.
saying,
There you
and
go.
they're saying that they're having that situation because that guy is the popular football player or that guy is someone she's upset with. We just had the situation that I'm sure you're going to bring up with the wife that killed her husband, right, online. Okay?
Yeah.
But if we didn't see it, we wouldn't be able to say what happened,
That's correct.
right?
That's
So
correct.
someone who is upset with someone because it's not going their way, some people are really violated and it's hard to even talk about it. I agree with you on that. I agree with you 100%. There are some out here that violate the woman that is violated when they come out and nothing happened to them and they say, this happened to me. So this is the confusion. It shouldn't be confusion. If you weren't violated, you shouldn't say you're violated.
Oh, of course.
But we
you-
never know.
But you can't let one or two monkeys stop the show. The show must go on.
The
And what
show-
I mean by that, if you're in a situation where women throughout the years have been, and believe me, I'm normally for right on a lot of stuff.
agree
but on this, I'm
100%
super
on
liberal
that.
because that's the one time I think with violence towards women and sexual stuff like that, yeah, but when you look at what happens in totality a lot of times,
But
when you
see,
look at those
back in the
situations,
day,
if you're a
we weren't
football player
having
or you're-
women come up and say they were violated, and they were violated. We had women back in the day that were violated and wouldn't speak up.
Exactly. but
Today,
that's
you
one of
got
the reasons
women
why,
that come up
because-
and say they were
because
violated,
put
but they
the-
weren't.
Because they put the women on trial. That's why women didn't come forward. And when you get to a situation where you start picking and choosing or find the 4 or 5 times where the lady did lie or stretch the truth or it was something else that happens.
That's 4
that-
of 5 people that have lives that
Okay, I
are now
understand
not
that,
being
but it's
okay
very full.
because those 4 of 5 will come up and say that something happened to them
Yeah, but then
based
again-
on what's happening today.
And what happens with a lot of
And
that
that's
stuff,
not okay.
the same way you're saying it's okay, a lot of times when the dust clears and everybody says, what, he paid us so-and-so
Well, we
just to
talked
make
about it
go away.
earlier, and like somebody may have lost some time. That's not
But if
okay.
you- no, what I'm saying
it's not
is-
okay where somebody loses time in their life because
I'm not-
somebody lied on
It's
them.
always bad, but you got to look at it like this. When you brought up athletes and basketball players, when
I
you're-
didn't. I followed
when you're-
behind.
When you're Kobe Bryant or you're somebody that you know what your worth is, and you're jumping from bed to bed with strange women that you just knew 2 hours, or it's a fan or a groupie, and
If
you're
you
not
didn't
smart
rape
enough to have
nobody and
surveillance
you jumping
cameras
from
or
bed to
people
bed, then you
there
just
right
jumping
with
from
you.
bed to bed. You didn't rape
But my
nobody,
point
so
is,
you shouldn't be
put your- no,
accused.
but you're putting yourself in that
Yeah,
situation.
but MJ, the only problem is you bring up people like Kobe Bryant, people who have the money. There's so many people who don't have any money.
I agree.
They don't have anything, and they're lied on, and Number one brought up the case you just talked about, JT. Case in Douglasville. She said it was her first protest. Innocent young man, another white young lady, went crying to daddy after he refused to go out with her again. She had the party while her folks were out of town and invited him into her bedroom. They had sex. It was just a one-time thing for him. She wanted a relationship. Now you cry rape. You know what I mean? Now this kid had to go to prison for, you know, and then like you were saying earlier, that not distinguishing high schoolers,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and just charge her with statutory rape
Yeah.
off the rip. And a lot of times, and let's just face facts, there's a racial part of that.
Yeah, there is.
You know what I mean?
And though,
If there's a white girl involved,
And they are a white.
they gonna
A lot of times
they
don't
dropping
even get
hammers.
charged.
Well, my son went to a
100%.
predominantly white school, college to play ball, and I sat him and his best friend down and gave them the spiel before they even left. I said, look, keep texts, keep correspondence you have with that chick forever, because I knew he was going to have that type of situation occur, and I told him to keep stuff. And just being factual, anybody in this day and time, black, white, yellow, green, you should tell your child to keep stuff.
But the problem with that is, if he's over 17 or older and she's 16, you can have all the stuff you want, and it's still gonna be statutory rape.
Yeah.
I
You know
have
what I
a
mean? And
question.
based
So
on
that's
who
why I
her
said I
and based on who her
disagree.
daddy is or who her family
Yeah,
is,
I definitely
they
disagree
gonna
with-
drop hammers on that.
Well, I
kid,
think what's
you
going to
know?
happen, just like the pendulum swung back in the day to protect women and why they did it, maybe in a couple years because of everything else, they've had to rewrite a lot of laws. Because remember, the only type of rape in the past you could have was vaginal and penal. You know, you had to have, you know, that's the only one. Now, a lot of states are rewriting that where a man can be raped. There's a lot of laws that are changing, and I think that's one thing that they may look at differently now.
Yeah.
You know, somebody making that outcry. But I'm just saying why they do it now. And I'm not just, don't want to go whole hard into backing y'all on that, because if you go that way with it, the messed up thing that can happen is now any woman that gets ready to yell rape, the first thing she has to do is break out a scale and see what she can prove and what she can't prove, and what is it going to do? If a woman doesn't have a slam dunk, do you want your face and your mama, your daddy, your sister, your cousin to know you were raped, or are you just going to shut the fuck up and take the rape?
Listen, I understand the premise. I said it earlier. I understand what it's for. However, there is a problem when it's a clear case of lying, when they can actually prove, you know what I mean, that she was lying, that nothing happens. You know what I mean? Because if it's like anything else. The reason you send people to jail is to discourage somebody else from doing the same. That's the whole point of the system. It's
Yeah, I
supposed
see
to
that
be,
point.
you know what I mean? It's to discourage people from doing things.
I do
But
have
if there's
something to
nothing that
say.
discourages, you know what I mean? How do you stop them from doing it? If there's nothing that goes against them from doing it.
Yeah, like I said, it's going to swing sooner or later.
With your
It's gonna-
son, right? He was in high school, or he is in high school.
He was in college. When he
Okay.
went to college, I gave him that spill. In high school, I did too, but I reiterated when he was going
So
to
what about
dominantly
the
white
young
college.
woman that would send him a picture on his phone? You say he's in sports. So he gets the picture in his locker room, because this happened to my friend's son. He gets the picture in his locker room. He's like, dang. So he said, dang, right? They're ready to put charges on this young kid because she wants to send her naked breast because the other kids saw it.
What typically happens with that and how that charge comes about is if that child forwarded to anybody else, and a lot of times when you catch the one charge, and this is what people don't understand, when any
He
allegations...
didn't forward it. He was in a locker room when
No,
they
I'm
saw
saying,
it.
when I know how it sounds, but when there's an investigation, you can only deal with what the facts are right then. And it was, what is he charged with? Pornographic material?
Whatever it was, his parents were in it enough, because he came straight home to say this happened, and then he was questioned. You know, he was the kind of kid where his parents were involved. Young kids that have that type of situation, and then the police are ready to put them away. That's a problem.
Well, the police can't put you away because they're juveniles. What happens a lot of times...
He's 18 at that time. He was graduating. He was high
Well,
school.
well, okay, if he's 18, then that can be charged as adult. what happens with that, and I think a lot's gonna change now, because a lot of the way laws were set up were set and geared towards my generation as a child, not today's generation when these kids at 10 and 9 and 8 know what sexual intercourse is, and they catch them, elementary school teachers catch kids banging each other, and they're in the 3rd and 4th grade and things like, excuse me being graphic, but that happens. So
'Cause you're
I
never
think
graphic.
what's going to happen is everything is going to just, it hasn't gone fully around yet, but at some point it's going to happen.
But that's the same thing. So today, people are coming out and saying, I was raped. It is such a hard thing to say you were violated.
that I'm
so
totally
the
different
people who
about.
are coming out and saying I was raped and they weren't touched, that's what we were first talking about.
Well, yeah, but when you get to that, it's like
It's the new age.
a lot of times, okay, a DA can't come out and say what really happened. But a lot of times, if you get those allegations like Kobe Bryant, the truth never came out about Kobe Bryant. I'll put it out there. It didn't have nothing to do with other semen being found in the girl. When they looked at her statement, she has inconsistencies in her statement. Her dad showed up at the emergency room because he found out his
Kobe
daughter
Bryant
was there.
had the right attorneys to make sure
No, that's
that
not what happened. No.
whatever her comments are, they can be checked.
No, that's not
Some
what
of these
happened.
kids don't have that.
That's not what happened. What happened with Kobe Bryant, they looked at the evidence. She had vaginal tears. Anytime you have intercourse, there's going to be vaginal tears. She had vaginal tears. Her anus was torn away from her body because, we're going to get all that. But anyway, that's what happened. Her daddy showed up, white daughter. What happened? What are you going to tell daddy? I was screwing Kobe Bryant, rolled over, and he tore my ass out? No, you can't say that. So she yelled, and her dad screamed first, and then she screamed rape, and then it started mushrooming. But when they got there and actually took statements, there was inconsistencies in her statements. They had the lobby phone. There was video and everything else showing that they willingly went and that it was consensual. So that's what ended up stopping that. The big thing came out when he had to buy the rock to, smooth over his fiance's. But
All right, real quick. Vic just asked this question. I know he kind of joking, but it does bring you to something else. He said, is it considered rape if a woman jumps on a man, if his penis gets hard, but he's still saying no? Yes, if the man says
You said
no.
he?
Yeah, he.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's rape. The issue is men don't report it.
it
So
is
if you
in
don't-
some states now.
Yeah.
In some states, it's still not.
What you mean?
In some states,
If a man, if a man says that, if a man says no,
the way the law is, it's be a sexual assault, but it wouldn't be a rape.
okay, well, it's something.
Yeah, it'd be a sexual assault.
Yeah,
It wouldn't be a rape.
I was
Because
about to
rape
say.
is still defined as penis penetrating a vagina, not
Okay, I
a
got you.
vagina
Right,
penetrating.
right.
But they're
And-
rewriting a lot of that.
But now let me ask you
because
this.
of the LGBTQ. They got to change a lot of stuff.
Oh, that's interesting what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
That it's only the penis penetrating, not
But a
the
lot of
vagina
states
covering.
already are more progressive with rewriting it.
or the
Some
vagina
states won't.
engulfing. Stop.
Right, because I know that
Florida
if you
definitely
take a
won't
man to
rewrite
get a
it.
massage, arousal doesn't mean he wants to have sex. A man go get a massage. Arousal doesn't mean he wants sex. Am I wrong?
I call bullshit on
Not
that.
that.
I call
Oh my
bullshit on
gosh, she's
that.
laughing her head off.
Finny just be
You
what?
wouldn't have
Hey,
got to
she
that
don't.
point.
She don't miss nothing.
Yeah, yeah, that
I don't think so. A man getting a massage at a massage parlor, that means if he's aroused
She don't miss
by the
nothing,
massage,
boy.
that
That
means
is
he
too
wants to have
funny.
sex.
Yes.
Even if he look, if he doesn't
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to,
you
what
talking-
you talking
look,
Men and women
look.
are totally
What
different.
are you
Hey,
asking
look,
then?
they ain't
I
gotta
don't
be
know
that
what you're
connected.
look,
asking.
if he
Venus
doesn't
and
want
Mars is
to,
real.
he's sure enough ready to. Hey, if he doesn't want to, he's ready to. Because it may not come about, but if it does, he's probably ready to do it. Listen, man,
He went there and laid there. He was ready to.
No.
we're going to take
I have
a
no
break.
clue.
We'll be back. Yeah, because he ready. He ready now.
So much drama in the LBC. It's kind of hard being Snoop D-O double G, but I somehow, some way keep coming up with funky rhymes every single day.
Nah, it's out of control, bro. It is out of control. Huh?
That has bothered you, boy.
Hell yeah. All that stuff, the
There's a
over-sexualization.
lot more men that like that. They just don't want people to know.
You see,
they were never met.
here she go with this nonsense. Like, yo,
That's true now because the comedians be saying that junk on stage all the time about how many of y'all got your buddy, boy.
you ain't never heard me say that.
I ain't say you.
Oh, I'm just saying, yeah, I gotta put it out there. You said comedians. I'm like, I'm saying, I ain't talk about nothing playing in, nobody getting none of this man pussy. It's not happening.
Alrighty then.
Top 5.
What?
Consent. Remember we went over consent? Yes, sir. Good. You're with a young lady. She has to consent to every act. So if you were in the car with her and something went down in the car, that does not mean that something has to go down at the apartment. If y'all did something in the car, that does not mean something else has to happen. That next day, you cannot assume that it is okay to send a dick or something like that. If you're in study hall and a trackster walks by you and she's got tights on and she's going to study, you can say, look at that fat. That's harassment. She has every right to turn around and press charge against you. If you're not quite sure what to say, picture it being your little sister or your mother, and then shut what you call the fuck. Are we clear? Yes, sir. Let's finish on this. Consent.
But anybody that sent their son to a predominantly white high school or college has definitely had that. I knew my dad had it with me, and I had it with my sons, because that's one thing as a black man you are worried about.
And even now, like the coach just said,
Yeah.
even if you saying something verbally,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, you can't even, the verbal can get you a charge. So you literally have to keep your P's and Q's. I know I tell my boys that jump, hey man, listen, trust me when I tell y'all, don't do it.
Listen, for
And
those.
I said about the pictures earlier in the phone, I told all of them, I say, man, don't y'all be looking at no pictures on the phone, and you
damn sure don't
you
send
better
it.
not send it nowhere.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Hey man, I mean, not too many. See, Dwayne, no, this corporate America stuff. Hey man, you can have a joke over here. Somebody could be standing over there, and here you having a joke with one of your partners.
Right.
And yeah, that's a sexual harassment charge.
Just like that.
You can't escape it. To be honest with you, you can't escape it. It's something that's there, and all of you need to warn all. I mean, my son went in the Air Force, and we know that it's not a lot of us running around the Air Force. So I told him, bro, be careful. He's in Oklahoma. I don't know too much about Oklahoma, but I don't think there are a lot of us running around out there neither. So I just told him, hey man, be
But in
careful out there,
Oklahoma
bro. You need to know what you're dealing with, know who you're dealing with, be careful with it. Boy, ooh, man.
What you got next, TD?
All right, we're gonna talk about this shooting, man.
Ouch.
Just had another mass shooting, and this time it was at a school. And at first they thought it was a teenager.
What kind of teenager?
Then they found out it was a 28-year-old young lady. And then they found out that she identified as transgender.
You're supposed to say she was a woman.
I'm
politically
correct.
correct.
That's what I haven't gotten all of it is
was born a boy
and
transgender transition to being a female.
okay, because that's the part because the name I see so they changed the name and everything because now the name is Audrey Elizabeth Hale. So I didn't know if it was a female that was rocking as a boy, but I guess it was okay. All right, and again,
It was a dude.
try not to say the wrong thing, yeah, in regards to that. But, it comes down to what we've talked about in the show a lot in regards to the gun violence and the ability to be able to purchase guns just because. I heard some really good conversations on it this morning when I was riding to work, listening to the radio, and they was talking about, what are your thoughts in regards to getting this under control? Of course, it comes down to politics and being able to vote the right people in there that's not actually running on the NRA's money type of deal. They was talking about, is it something that should you get a security force that should be paid for by the parents at the schools? But then somebody called in and gave a very good thing that the government could do in regards to a lot of the veterans that's out here that's unemployed. Of course, veterans that's actually served real wartime would have to go through some counseling to make sure that they're mentally fit to do something like this. But they are trained to actually protect strangers already or fight for strangers already. So that would be something
Bad idea.
that the government could do to actually
Well, here,
help in regards
Terrible
to security
idea.
at the schools.
here's your problem with this particular situation. And Kat said there was another one in Tennessee I wasn't aware of, but this particular person legally purchase these weapons with a mental disability issue, with the mother saying that that child didn't need to have a weapon. They have actual documentation of mental issues, and because there's no restrictions on that, and Tennessee's gun laws are super lax. And my aunt shared some stuff today with us in our family group chat. I didn't realize just how lax Tennessee's gun laws are, but they're non-existent.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're basically non-existent. I mean, you can carry with no permit.
Like Georgia.
It's wide open, man. Tennessee gun laws are wide open.
Yeah.
So here's your problem, and this person's parent was a part of people protesting against guns. The one who killed, mother, was protesting against people being able to carry weapons like that. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Did you
Yeah.
ever hear about him being a student there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Herb
he's a student
was a
there,
former
former student.
student,
It's a former student there.
former student,
dealing with
and was
being
direct,
trans.
was going after direct people, killed, why he killed the custodian, I don't know.
Yes, killed a
Crazy.
custodian.
But killed the
a
director of
After the
the,
job.
a
killed the
substitute
director,
teacher.
Killed anybody at the school.
killed the director of the school.
Well, he killed anybody at the
One of the
school.
girls they killed was the head preacher or whatever for the school. That was his daughter, the 9-year-olds.
Oh. Yeah,
So it's-
three 9-year-olds
cold
got
with it.
killed.
Yeah, very cold, very
Yeah,
deliberate,
that's deliberate. Yeah.
very deliberate.
Well,
Very deliberate.
Shot
because
through the window
to get
of
in.
the school. Did y'all see the video? I mean, shot through the window.
I saw it.
Didn't ring. Shot right through the glass.
Yep.
You know.
That brings up something about schools that I want to ask about. He shot through the doors. We saw the video, right? So he shot through the doors. He went into a hallway. He was going back somewhere. He came back out. He did other things. Nobody was manning it. Nobody saw the video. Nobody stopped.
Well, I think
Nobody was able to say.
I think when he shot through the glass, it alerted them, and they were getting, because I believe because of the shooting through the window and all that stuff, it gave them an opportunity to get people
Evacuate more people.
Evacuate,
Yeah,
because you
they-
saw the alarms
Yeah,
going off
they
immediately.
did. Some went out into
So
the
it gave
woods.
because
the
it wasn't for
wooded
that. If
area.
it wasn't for the, it may have been worse.
A lot worse.
Wow. Okay.
You know, if
because
he had
did
snuck
go
into the
once got
school,
in and started
yeah.
trying.
Yeah, because she was
Yeah.
on, it was, what was it, 13 minutes?
Yeah, 13
13
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah.
14
14 minutes
yeah.
at the point of execution.
Yeah, can I respond
Yeah.
to something you said though? And I wasn't. I joked about it, and I should know, but no, that was a real bad idea having military involved. Military rules of engagement have no place in the private sector.
Well, now, look, I'm not saying that you go in as an Army or a Marine, but
No,
you have to
no,
get
what I'm
trained. No
saying is
different
when-
than an Army guy becoming a cop.
No, it's different because it's different rules of engagement. Not
Right.
saying because everybody wants a quick fix to it.
No,
There's no quick
but
fix.
I don't think.
'Cause if you
I'm
do
not
that-
saying you get out the Army and now you're a security guard at the school. I'm saying you get out and there should be a training in place,
Okay,
just like
yeah,
the same
okay,
training
they're
that
gonna train 'em.
that Army people go and Marines go through to be cops, and they're fit, right?
Well,
'Cause
no,
it's
yeah,
different
but that's a lot of
engagement.
training and the cost factor in that.
Again, this is what I'm
I
saying.
guess we're giving billions
That
to
could be something that could be
Ukraine.
done for the schools. That's what I'm saying. That could be something that's done for the same type of training.
Yeah, the billions of dollars. You're right. The billions of dollars used in Ukraine, but
I ain't saying it's gonna happen.
I'm far, but I'm
Who
actually
does
far
afford it
right
for the
on this.
schools? That's sad.
This is not an
Yeah,
issue.
you funny.
This is not an issue. This is not an issue that guns don't kill people. I think the one thing that did stand out, if that person was in fact had mental, now that's something I think should be where, and a lot of people don't want it, they should take 100, because alcohol, tobacco, and firearms comes in and they go over, there's certain federal laws you got to go by, but then the states pretty much run their own shows. Now, what should be done from this, there should be a national database, but because of Reagan and Reaganomics, our mental health care system is so antiquated that there's no one button sends all. And then they got to be training for psychiatrists where they can, if somebody's a card carrying 24, which means a demented person, they should be able, through after protocols, because you got to look at it, all psychiatrists aren't created equal. So one might say somebody is slapjack ass crazy, and the other one just says he's depressed.
Right.
So
Yes.
that's one of the issues with it. But when it comes to the point when somebody has been identified, when somebody starts receiving certain medications for it, then I think there should be a national database where the press of a button, it pops up just like a criminal history. I think that should occur. But to sit up here because...
So let me ask you a question based on that statement real quick. If that was the case, what would be the resolution? Are you saying that ATF would go to those houses and retrieve the guns? Is that what? You know what I'm saying? So their name pops up in the database, but I've already bought 3 AR-15s.
Well,
So then what?
you got to realize this is America, and you're gonna have a hard like the pry my dead hands off my gun, and that's not just white people saying that. That's black people.
So I'm saying, so how would the database help if I've already
it'll come in
secured
the
all my
future.
weapons?
What the future would shop, because if you look at one thing that every single mass shooting has in common, every one of them were legal. The big ones. I'm not talking about the ones that are trying to make a mass shooting.
Not the hood shooting, just the...
Exactly. What it is, all those guns were legally purchased. Sandy Hook, legally purchased. All these guns are legally purchased. I think they need to tighten it up. But if you don't fix the mental health system, it's almost like throwing a pebble up in the air and hoping it lands on something. You know, it's not going to happen because you're going to have protocols set. It's going to be a revamping of a whole system, and the feds would have to step back in. And the feds don't want to get that dollar, but Biden will send billions overseas for a war that has nothing to do with us. But all that money that could repair the mental health care system, and then you could have it once somebody it's going to take years. This is a quick fix because you'd have to, okay, what protocols to make sure before you take away somebody's right to bear arms, because if not, it's going to be constitutionally challenged. So there's so much court stuff that would have to happen.
Yeah.
But that's the quickest way to take that avenue out. The other thing should be a cooling off period, like in a lot of European countries. You have to have training. And I think that should be basic setup, should be like a basic firearms course that requires, to be signed off by a range master. That's somebody that's qualified to do it and teach it, and teach basic handgun safety laws before anybody should be able to buy a gun. And I'm far right, but I would agree with that considering what's happened in the last couple years.
Now let me, because Vic actually brought this up. I was going to bring this up too. And I'll just go with what he said. He said he was listening to Fox News and he said they have 2 different narratives going on in regards to it. Mixed conversations going on in America, and truly it depends on what side of the political spectrum you're on. Is there any reason to have an AR-15 on the streets?
I have an AR-10 and 2
But I'm
AR-15s.
saying, but that's what I'm saying. Why do the bear arms? What is an AR-15? Why do you need an AR-15 at your house?
Why do you smoke cigars?
I can't kill nobody with it. I can burn them to
Killing
death.
me, I'm probably lost 2 years of my life on this damn show.
Look,
Secondhand
but
smoke
the
like
thing
a
is,
motherfucker.
with that, you could walk away and I still couldn't do nothing to you. I could throw this cigar at you.
No, but you've done it. Just say you're gonna give me 2.
I mean,
you're gonna give me 2
right now,
years,
right
2
now,
years straight off the line.
right now,
No,
you
we
being.
shouldn't. I shouldn't be joking about it, but I just truly believe it's like it just kills me with, especially when people on here want to say, "Oh man, we're in danger. Something might happen to us. It might be a race war, whatever." And then you don't want to be able to protect yourself. I want to be able to protect myself from anybody, black, yellow, or green, that would mess with my harmony.
Is it possible he's saying why you can speak on it better than any of us probably, but why are these things out here? Why are they selling
Well, the
them?
reason you
What's
want an
going on with it?
AR-15 because if I have to deal with you as a target, it's a very flat shooting gun. It's very easy to shoot, very light recoil. I can, if you got a fully auto, you can double tap them, meaning send 3 rounds down range accurately. You can engage them from the front side of my property all the way in with my night vision. I'm gonna see you. I'm gonna tap you. Whereas if you have a shotgun, you're limited in your range unless you're using a slug.
So having that type of gun, I think that's what he's talking about. Like,
Yeah.
why are we selling that kind of gun? Why do you have it, even on the police force? Why do other people have it? other people have it? Why is it on the streets? What is this gun? Why are we having it like it's readily
Vic said,
available?
why not have a 50 caliber?
Some people have 50 calibers. Some people do.
You'd be surprised what folk got that.
Man, I'm just
Bear
saying.
sniper rifle.
What?
I wouldn't have one; they're too expensive. But it's a stopping part in the range. You couldn't use it. But the thing, I mean, we joke about it, but I really think you have a right to bear arms for a reason. And I don't want to turn this show into it, but there's a lot of people out there. You got to look at the nuts just at the Capitol. And if you saw what every one of those nuts have, that's why when you libertards are on there talking about, oh no, we don't need guns, we don't need guns. And you see every one of them jokers that climbed that wall had an AR strapped to their back. They're walking around with them. There's a guy that every week just about goes up to Atlanta airport with an AR strapped to his chest because it's illegal. I mean, it's legal
Right.
to go into certain areas of it. So if you don't want to have an AR or have something where you can challenge that individual and deal with those individuals, the same thing. Don't have them. But what happens when something goes down like that school? But
So
you're
the
the first
right to
parent
bear
there.
arms, though, why does it have to be an AR? Like, for all of them to have it strapped to their back, how did they get it? Like, why is it available to be?
Because
So
we,
like that.
that's one of the things that was in, that amendment was put there by our forefathers to make sure we're protected. And
The
able
right to bear
not so
arms.
much against each other, but against the unjust government. That's why that was really put in there.
Okay.
So we have the ability to defend ourselves against the unjust government. Everybody talks about the government this, the government that, the government that. I, for one, want to be able to protect mine, and it's not so much for that, but just the fact that I'm good. I know how to handle a weapon. I think there should be training for the weapon, but there's no way to get, there's more, I forgot, there's some ridiculous number of weapons per person in the United States, and that's including everybody that doesn't own a gun. It's a ridiculous number, like 10 or 12. So if you have a situation like that, it's better to have one and not need it than to need one and don't have it.
True, I agree. But again, these guns are out here and they're being sold like that. And like a car gets more and more advanced. So now we have guns getting more and more advanced. When do we if you have the right to bear arms to protect your home, that's different than having some type of automatic rifle.
You should
know?
have, well, I look at it like this. I want to be able to protect myself because it's all shits and giggles until somebody's trying to break in your house at 3 o'clock in the morning and you got a 38 special, snub nose, and you're like, oh shit, I couldn't hit the target at 20 yards and now.
But I have to
at
get
my-
it. I have to get it because people are buying it. So I have to buy it to protect myself. But it's just like a car. It's getting more and more advanced.
No, the
So
guns
I have
haven't
to
really
have
gotten
it to
advanced. The guns
protect
now, it's a
myself,
basic
right?
same platform.
Well, y'all-
What's really changing now is
I know,
its
good.
appearance. What happens now?
I got them, so.
Yeah, you got them too quiet over there.
I mean, what you want me to say?
You got as many as I do, so why
I
you
got
talking
'em.
You
shit?
talking about?
Silent over here.
Let me ask you this. Vic asked this. He said if the laws are made for the black man not to be able to protect himself, he says he guarantee you if 1 million black men register for a weapon a day, that the laws will be changed. What you think about that?
Well, I would like to see that many people do it. So
I agree
yeah,
with
I'd like to see
him
it, yeah.
that if enough black folks had weapons registered, I would agree that they would figure out a way to regulate it in some shape, form, or fashion. I do agree with that.
And you should look at the hysteria that it caused, because if you go back to when the riots started happening in Atlanta, and there was a suspicion that there should be, militias might be out there, maybe racial, which turned out to pan out it wasn't true. But this is one thing: if you go to any gun range in the metro Atlanta area, what do you think you see? Because I know you don't shoot. You know that answer. What do you think you see?
I'm sure you're gonna see it.
See what?
The ARs, the Glocks.
No, but what color are the people you think that are in there?
Oh well, I'm sure it's most gonna be white people.
See, he's dead ass wrong. You go to any gun range in Atlanta, these young brothers, these old brothers, these sisters,
I ain't
there's
been
some
there. I
women
ain't been there in a long time, so.
there's women that have shooting clubs now. So a
Yeah.
lot of black people have always been fearful of guns, but they're getting out and they've realized it's fun. okay, I can outshoot you. You have a contest. We say, okay, you're gonna go for beers. So after we shoot, then you go out, have a couple drinks, whatever. It's just like y'all smoking. It's a very, it's fun. It's, you know, it's if you look at it as a sport, it's sad that people misuse guns, but there's no way to get all the guns that have been sold in America off the streets. I know people, and not just nuts, regular people that got 10,000 rounds of ammunition for every gun they own. And it's not just white people.
No, it's not.
I got a couple thousand rounds.
But you know, I mean, the mental aspect,
yeah,
I think, plays a major part in the mass shooting portion of it. You know what I mean? I mean, most of those folks who commit those mass shootings, they trace back to some type of issues that they shouldn't have been armed in the first place. You know, and that's a major issue. And the NRA, as my aunt pointed out this morning, you know, 8% of the country is controlling the whole. You know, they make that small 8% is making so many decisions. That small percentage is making all the decisions. You know, and but
that's the point that they was making in regards to the political side, because the NRA is controlling the people that's pushing out the gun laws, or the gun laws that's not there.
The governor of this state won an election by pointing a gun at another kid, and he won. Mm-hmm. He ran. Part of his campaign was holding up a gun and pointing at a kid about his daughter, and he won.
Every brother I know
want to get the caller?
Guns.
Okay. Tell the caller. We'll be right back, caller.
Yeah, that's a false narrative, because everybody black I know owns a gun.
So much drama in the LBC. It's kind of hard being Snoop D-O double G, but I somehow, some way keep coming up with funky rhymes every single day.
Nah, it's out of control, bro. It is out of control. Huh?
That has bothered you, boy.
Hell yeah. All that stuff, the over-sexualization.
There's a lot more men that like that. They just don't want people to know.
You see, here she go with this nonsense. Like,
That's true now, because the comedians be saying junk on stage all the time about how many of y'all got your buddy, boy.
You ain't never heard me say that.
I ain't say you.
Oh, I'm just saying, yeah, I gotta put it out there. He said comedians. I'm like, I'm saying, I ain't talking about nothing playing in, nobody getting none of this man pussy. It's not happening.
Alrighty then.
Top 5.
What?
All right, y'all, we back. Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Lo.
And that's a cop.
404-500-1605. It looks like somebody is taking advantage of that free telephone call. Caller, you there?
I'm here.
What's going on?
Not a thing. This is Brandon Marsh. What's going on, y'all?
What's
What's
up,
up,
B?
what's
Oh, snap. Big Mars. What's up, brother?
Not a thing. Not a thing. I was listening to the show, and listen, when there's an issue that me and Ask a Cop agree on, I gotta call in because it's few and far between.
He gets that
Preach,
a lot.
brother, preach.
He gets that a lot. He got about 8 fans when they call him when they agree with him.
Hilarious.
All 8.
Hilarious.
But they're loyal.
What's up,
That's
B?
right. Now, listen. So, man, here's the deal. First of all, for people who are concerned about as y'all know, but for what it's worth, I'm on the opposite end politically. Probably, I am far left, and I mean I am socialist left. You know what I'm saying? So, but we have a saying, and it's if you go far enough left, you get your guns back. Which is to say that like Democrats per se are in the middle, are fairly centrist, but the far left believes in arming everybody. You know what I'm saying? Believes that every working man should own a gun. And that comes from that's a Marxist thing, it's a communist thing, but it also comes from our black leaders shortly after the Civil War. What did they say that the black man's power comes in 3 boxes: the ballot box, the ammo box, and the jury box, or whatnot. So it's what I'm saying. So it was something that was definitely ingrained in early non-conservative politics, but it's definitely a left thing. So like I'm a socialist. I identify as a socialist. But we believe that every working home should own a gun, and that anything you do to increase the price or the inaccessibility of weapons works against working people, which by and large breaks down class-wise into, lower income, and now that breaks down into primarily people of color. So any laws that we put in place to discourage ownership overwhelmingly will hurt people of color in terms of defense. Now, that's right. So that y'all can decide whether y'all want to defend yourselves. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a person of color. I can't comment on that. But that's who it hurts. But until people acknowledge that it's a capitalist, patriarchal, and white problem, you're never going to solve the gun problem. Because right now, laws are made to protect specific groups, and it started off, they protect landowning men who at the time were just white men. Then it was, you don't have to be landowning, but you're just a man. A man can vote, women can't vote, so it's all broken down. But it all goes back to that. Anything that discourages, or any gun issue we have, is always going to protect people with money, people who own land, white people, men in general. You know what I'm saying? And until we admit that, we're never going to be able to do anything about what we perceive as a gun problem. You know what I'm saying? But we can't, people won't address it that way. So until they can, it won't happen. But listen, Cop is absolutely right. The laws were made to defend against a tyrannical government, and which is what any of your societal help groups, if you want to consider the Black Panthers and whatnot, a community help group and whatnot, that's what they were talking about. Is whatever the government has, if we plan to fight against what the government wants to do, we have to be armed the same way the government is. And that's where I am on it. Like, he and I agree completely. We just have different reasons for it. They're not far off, but like it's interesting when something unites people from, I don't want to say different sides, but we definitely bump heads on some stuff. You know what I'm saying? But my main reason for and listen, it is, I respect everything you say. You know that. What's going to come up is, the reason I called was, man, this is it happened at a school, and the first thing that's going to come up is arming teachers, or like y'all said, paying veterans. And the issue is going to be, when you deal with, I think all of y'all served in the military, or at least a couple of y'all. I didn't. But what you're looking at is, if you come back from any, just the experience of being in the military, or specifically in a war-torn area, actual war duty, you're dealing with PTSD, which at that point is it's a mental instability, whether we like it or not. And just training to be in the military trains you to break down and stop making individual decisions, and to make decisions that benefit other people, whether that be your platoon or, whatever. So we're asking people that their training specifically breaks down their mentality, who go to places where they have to deal with the horrors of war, and then come back and say, well, why don't we give them a gun and let them defend some kids? And it sounds like a good idea, but when you start talking about mental issues, that's the first thing people are going to point out. And if you withhold mental issue, or use mental issues as a way not to let people have arms, how quickly do you think the people that make the rules are going to say that, we've already talked before at other times that the PTSD that young children in low income and poverty stricken areas experience is the same thing that soldiers experience. So if we think they can't own a gun because they're mentally unstable, how quickly will people weaponize color, or the experiences of people of color? How many quote unquote angry black men would be denied weapons because they're angry? You know what I'm saying? There's got to be something wrong.
Great
so
point.
That will quickly be weaponized.
Or black
But
kids.
yes, listen, y'all know I'm a teacher, and I deal with kids I'm a special ed teacher. All of my kids have 504 plans or IEPs. How quickly do you think they will be labeled? You're young, you're black, and you have you have any sort of mental instability. That's the first target. You know what I'm saying? We don't need them having guns. So then you talk about arming teachers, and man, there's a checklist people got to go through. And when we talk about, so first things first, let's walk through it if we can. Like, should teachers be allowed to carry guns? I don't know what y'all think. Should teachers carry guns in school? You know what I'm saying?
With the proper
Have y'all answered that or thought about that?
Yeah, we didn't get to that, but that was a question. My opinion is, with specific training, yes, but I don't know that that's another expense that you're talking about that the government would have to come up with.
So I'm a reasonably athletic, in shape male, and I own guns. I'm trained. It's cool. Like, surely if anybody can carry a gun, it's me. But if we look back to when we're all of a certain age. When we were in school, we didn't have many male teachers. We had a lot of female teachers. And so my question is, would you trust your third grade English teacher with a gun? You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you brought up a valid point on what a lot of people don't look at, that haven't handled firearms, that haven't been raised with them. It's one thing taking a shot but there's this thing called pucker factor. If you shoot 100, which is a perfect score on the range, when you actually get in a shootout, your accuracy normally drops down to the 80s. When you shoot in the 90s, it drops down to the 70s. When you shoot in the 80s, that means you probably ain't hitting what you're shooting at.
And
that's
when you put the kids
it's called
in danger.
pucker factor. Now the backdrop drop on every single shot you take is going to be children. And the problem you have with something like that, when somebody raises his hand and says, I want to do it, I want to do it, I want to do it, that's probably not the person you want to pick. And it's a lot on the people, because I told my sister, when my sister wanted to get a gun, the first thing I told her before she got one was, make sure your mind is set that you will use this gun offensively, because one of the biggest, we shouldn't joke about it, but it happens all the time in the city of Atlanta, armed people will get robbed. It's like, how the hell did they get robbed and who's armed? And the people had the opportunity and didn't take the shot. Pucker factor. And that's not talking about that individual, but you have to know who you are. I think there's been a lot, just like white people, there's been a lot of fad buyers in the black community also. I could probably think of 10 black females. I put up a bunch, just about every brother I know, because the black females that buy guns they're in that range religiously. And they like it. They have parties where they all go out and shoot at the range. They have range dates and stuff like that. So there's so much that goes into it. But you have to put parameters on it. And it's easy to say put people here, put people there. But PSD is real. ADHD, that's the one thing I got to agree with you on, is that the labeling is going to start. And who do you think the labels are going to easily be led on? How many black kids do you know the first time they're boisterous in school, they want to take them down and put them on Ritalin or some type of drug? That's automatically, there's going to be a list of drugs that are going to exclude you. And what do you think drugs they're going to put on the list, number one? That probably 40% of black youth at some point at white schools are on?
But the far left people can help us in that situation.
I'm far left. What help do you want? Tell me what help you need, and I can get you.
Amen. Especially if you know something about, kids that are considered, learning disabled or what have you, then you know that there are some kids that they put in there that are not learning disabled, and they label them that.
Oh, absolutely.
You labeled, you got that label. So, hey, now you can't own a gun. You can't go in the military. That's what a lot of people got to think before they just jump on those bandwagons with their kids. But I think any restrictions, the restrictions are going to lean towards restricting the people they want to restrict. And that's why I don't agree, because it's not, there's so many guns out, and certain people, look at the militias, look at what happened under Trump's watch in January. You know, when you see that and you see the fury and anger and actual hate they had, that they were going to wanted to overthrow their own government. Come on, and you say you don't need a gun? That's some liberal bullshit.
So, all right. So listen. So here's what we look at. If they only we're only going to let certain people, carry guns in school. Let's just assume let's assume it's me. First of all, we're dealing with the issue of you're not allowing some people to arm themselves because we don't think they're capable. And we like we said, that's what you're going to come up against. Let's say you let me carry a gun. Am I a target because the kids? Okay, well, first of all, do I carry it on me, or do we have to keep it locked up somewhere? If I keep it on me, can I carry it open, or do I have to carry it concealed? If I carry it concealed, am I now a target if something happens with a kid because they know I've got the gun and I'm the first one they're going to want to try and take it from? Because even at my school, we had some kids try to put together, it was the funniest, I say it's funny, I call it the Lord of the Flies incident, because we had some kids thought they were going to take over the school. Now, mind you, I teach at a special ed school, so they didn't even think about how to lock the doors, where to get food or anything. They just knew the cop has the gun and we got to get him in a closet so he can't shoot us. And that's the first thing they thought of. Wow. So am I a target if I'm carrying? You know what I'm saying? So now we're dealing with, am I a target that the kids want to take the gun away from me first if I'm carrying on me? If I'm not and it's in a box, am I too slow to react to get to it? Or what's required to get into it? Am I the only one that can get to it, or can other teachers get to it? If I'm shot first, nobody else can get the gun because it's a safe that only I control because I'm the only one licensed to do it. Okay? So we got that issue. Now, right. Or is it a biometric safe? Or, so like whatever. So now we have let's say we have an active shooter, and I've got my gun because they let me carry it. All right. Now we're at pucker factor. When that kid comes, one, am I going to be able to? But all right. When you talk about law enforcement, they say that a law enforcement's hit ratio is they average 51% if there's one officer. It drops to 23% if there's two officers involved. So those are people who are paid to qualify, and they're hitting half their shots. You know what I'm saying? What am I going to do? And I'm reasonably trained. You know what I'm saying? But what are most teachers going to do? So now we're talking about less than half of a hit, less than 50% hit ratio with a gun. So now I've got to draw down on a kid. One, am I going to be able to shoot that kid? We all work with kids in some format. If one of the kids we work with pulled a gun, how quickly can we shoot a kid that we know, a kid whose parents we know, a kid that we spend 8 hours a day with, a kid that we know what problems he has because it's my job to talk to him about them? Am I going to be able to put him down it's one thing if he's threatening me. We all talk like if you threaten my family, I can do it. But man, what if you threaten these other kids? Am I that dedicated to protecting those other kids? Honestly, are you? You know what I'm saying? To shoot this kid that you know?
About him readily being able to have the gun in the first place. What is your opinion about that?
Okay, again, I'm far left. Arm us all. You know, like we all need a gun. No, it's not realistic in the school because you're going to deal with you're going to deal with one. Can I pull the trigger and shoot this kid? If I'm too jumpy and I shoot the wrong kid, who's liable for that? Am I liable for it personally, or is the school liable for it? You know what I'm saying? And who's liable for it? If I don't shoot quick, if I jump too quick and I shoot this kid and it's the wrong kid, what happens? If I don't act soon enough and
you're going to have a certain liability. They're going to have to rewrite laws where you'll be under the covered under the color of law if you make a bad shot. Or if you make the right shot, people will say the same thing they tell police officers. Why ain't you shoot him in the arm? You know, they're going to, you know, why did you wing it? You know, and you got a K5. You do believe arm us all, though. And see, another issue that I want you to look at, and this is truthful in case it happens in your school, please remember that you are black and you running around in plain clothes with a gun and an active shooter situation, and everybody now is trained on the same page. If you notice that shooting today, there's a lot of stuff that's going to come about that. That's a bad training video, but thanks for the heroic officers that did respond properly. The thing that everybody's taught now is to press the fight, meaning you charge to where the gunfire is and take out the shooter. If you have these teachers running around, 3, 4, 5 of them, and they're running around deciding if they want to shoot, and a police officer turns that corner, they're going to catch one in the 5 and one in the 5. They're going to get double tapped. And that's just the stress of the situation. These officers that are coming in those buildings aren't SWAT officers. These are your basic beat officer that grabs a long gun or the shotgun out of his trunk, hasn't probably shot it since this year's qualification, which could be 11 or 12 months, depending on when he qualified. Now you're asking him to take the biggest shot of his life. Oh, that's right. He shot 87 on the firing range.
Right. And listen, we're talking about what happens if you shoot the kid too quick or shoot the wrong kid. What happens if I don't shoot quick enough and one of your kids gets shot? Are you going to be mad at me because I didn't shoot that kid quick enough?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Now there's 3 kids that are paralyzed.
That's a lot to unpack, boy.
Right. Okay. And I'm a gun owner. And listen, just to be honest, since you're asking about how I feel about them at school, I have armor at school. I have 2 sets of armor. One I keep in my car, one I keep at my home. So I have body armor in my classroom.
So it don't matter for me.
Yeah, I have body armor. I keep a trauma kit, body armor, and a weapon in my vehicle at the school. So if something like that goes down, but the next thing I'm dealing with is if I go put on that armor and head back into school, who are the cops looking for? And they gonna see a guy in body armor with a gun.
Exactly.
You know, I know my SRO.
One big part out of black guy with a body armor and a gun.
Right.
No, he's white.
Oh, you white?
So he might get to take 3 more.
Oh, what's up, man?
You don't sound white.
What's up?
Yeah, he white.
I know you.
He white. That's our great white hope right there.
I know you, man.
That's our great white hope. Be
So-
harsh.
So that's like there's a lot that goes into whether we arm teachers. And like I said, I'm a gun owner. I keep a trauma kit. I keep armor at the school. Like I'm prepared if it goes down, but I'm the exception. And on top of all this, I'm the white guy. Like I might be able to walk through the school with a gun,
That's true.
but most of my staff's not going to. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like what I have on my side is if the cops do see me, they're going to ask to take me out for a burger before they take, they're not going to shoot me directly. They going to wait and see what happens with me. I got that benefit. You know what I'm saying? I got the privilege. They going to wait and see what happens with me. But like most of my staff can't do that. And that's not realistic for them. So there's a lot of things that people don't think about when it comes to this.
That's a lot.
Local politician by the name of Yasmin Neal. She's a Clayton County politician. She also is a former law enforcement. She probably has some insight that a lot of people don't. She is, like I said, a local lawmaker. She has a TikTok that has some decent videos. But if you look up Miss Yasmin Neal, she is a local black politician that used to be in law enforcement. So if anybody has a more nuanced perspective as to what we have to do, she's, black mother law enforcement lawmaker. You know what I'm saying? So you might want to check her out, follow her on Twitter or whatnot, but she would have a nuanced perspective on what's going on here. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot that people aren't thinking about.
Hey, man, you hit it dead on the nail, B. Marsh, and
A couple of nails.
because that's like you said, that's a lot to unpack, and you just kind of swayed because I'll go back and forth with the thought of teachers being armed, but my initial thought, you finished it at the end, was the liability issue. If you don't shoot them, if you know what I mean, you'll be held liable. It'd be if you do shoot them, you gotta, it's a lot to unpack for a teacher, and I 100% agree.
Damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Are you covered?
Yeah, and are you covered?
Listen, what happens if I shoot a cop? What happens if I'm coming in, the cop's coming in the other way, I shoot at a cop and they fire back at me? Like, now it's a shit show. You know what I'm saying? Like, like it's a lot going on.
No, you're right.
It's a lot going on that people aren't thinking about.
You're 100% correct.
It's a 3-year court case.
Yep.
100% correct.
Oh, easily. So I just wanted to add that, throw a little bit in and for y'all to think about if people aren't thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot going into that. As a teacher, as a gun. Oh, that reminds me. Ask the Cop is absolutely right. If y'all are local to the Atlanta area, and you look up the Bass Reeves Gun Club, I'm a member there. It is an African American gun club here in Atlanta, and it's the North American, National African American Gun Association, NAGA. Which, bless your heart, I think you come up with a better name than NAGA for a bunch of black folks with guns. But what can I say? So I'm a NAGA, you know what I'm saying? I'm a member. In fact, I love them. You might call me a NAGA lover, just depending on who you are. But by all means, look up Bass Reeves Gun Club or NAGA if you are black in the Atlanta area and want to train with people who are like-minded. And that crosses political spectrums. I have a very close friend who is extremely conservative, black. He and I are the same way about our arsenals. You know what I'm saying? We have some of everything. You know what I'm saying? So it crosses a lot of lines, but it's about protecting people of color or giving people of color a chance to protect themselves against whatever. So by all means, look into it. If you don't know how to get in touch with them, get in touch with me, and I'll connect you with somebody if there's something you're interested in joining in.
Outstanding.
But by all means, hey, arm yourselves. People ask me why I have so many guns and why we need them. People like me are doing it. People who look like me are doing it. People that look like y'all need to do it too. I'm armed to protect myself against, and the joke is, I'm armed to protect myself against my brother. When I say my brother, I mean literally my brother. My family is very conservative, surprisingly. And my little brother is Alabama country boy. He hunts. He's in the National Guard. Like, the things he knows about weapons, I need to know too, because when the stuff goes down, that's who I'm going to have to fight. So when people like me are doing it, people that look like y'all need to do it too, or be aware, or at least know that people who look like me are doing it. Absolutely. Whether you want to do it or not is your business, but people who look like me are definitely doing it. So be aware.
Hey, D-Mars, appreciate you, bro.
He's on point. I'm glad you agreed with me for once.
Hey, man.
Listen, I tell you.
I should have smelt your liberalness to the phone.
You should have. You should have. All right.
Hey, look, just in case I'm
not a liberal. I'm a leftist. I'm a leftist. That's different than a liberal. Leftists hate liberals too. Okay. L's. That's right. That's true.
Look, and just in case y'all didn't get it, what do you say? The National African Gun Club of America. That's NAGA.
National African. Yeah, NAGA. Okay.
That's NAGA. NAGA.
Look at that.
Yep. National.
See, that's gonna get somebody shot.
He said, "See,
are you a member of NAGA?"
That's what he said. Bless their heart. They
all
need a different name.
In here.
Yep.
Hey, we gotta
Yeah,
go
they
to
didn't
break
think
real,
that name
real
through, did
quick.
they?
Appreciate you, B. Marsh, man. That was great, brother.
Not a
Come
problem.
back in, man.
Y'all,
That
y'all
was a
enjoy
great.
it.
That was a great
Buy
call
some
in, man.
T-shirts.
Thank you.
Look, first thing Vic
Thank you,
said,
y'all.
man, I can't believe that we even having this conversation, which is crazy. You're right. But my man Ben came in. He said, that's a lot. Y'all want teachers to handle up to 25 kids, educate them, counsel them, and then become a Call of Duty Captain America, all for $45,000 a year. And with that, we'll be
Correct.
back. We're coming back with the top
All
five.
right.
Be right back.
All right. All right.
So much drama in the LBC. It's kind of hard being Snoop D-O double G, but I somehow, some way keep coming up with funky rhymes every single day.
Nah, it's out of control, bro.
Wait,
It is out of control. Huh?
that has bothered you, boy.
Hell yeah. All that stuff, the over
There's a
sexualization.
lot more men that like that. They just don't want people to know.
You see,
They would never admit
here
to.
she go with this nonsense. Like, yo,
That's true now because the comedians be saying junk on stage all the time about how many of y'all got your buddy, boy.
you ain't never heard me say that.
I didn't say you.
Oh, I'm just saying, yeah, I gotta put it out there. He said comedians. I'm like,
heard
I'm
you say
saying,
weekend.
I ain't talk about nothing playing in, nobody getting none of this man pussy. It's not happening.
Alrighty then.
Top five.
What?
Conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way to rap. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. It's classic conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. It's classic conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way the
All right, y'all, we back. We back. Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Lo.
And Ask a Cop.
I will give y'all a telephone number, but I don't want you to call in now because we about to go. But before we do that, please make sure that you hit those buttons. The buttons I'm talking about is the one that's on Amazon Music, also on Spotify and on YouTube. Hit the button and subscribe. It's free. It is free. It is free. So subscribe. So we're going to move it along, man. We're going to our favorite part of the show, Top 5.
Hey. And not just subscribe, but then after you subscribe, do us one more thing. Share it.
Yes.
Share the post. You know what I mean? And y'all like them. You comment on them. Share them. Some of y'all do, and I appreciate you. But we need everybody to share the post. Because all my friends versus all your friends and JT friends and everybody. Hey, man.
Sad.
Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Share
People
the post.
coming up to you, man, that was a great show last week. Well, bro, I can't tell that you watched it. I have no idea that you watched it.
Yeah,
No idea that you supported. You ain't say nothing. You didn't pop up on the screen, you know. Yeah, you know. You done heard somebody else say what the show was about.
And real quick, number one said you have 2 members of Congress, 2 Republicans who sent out Christmas cards with them and their kids holding AK-47s. Kiki said you don't need AR-15 to bear arms. She said, ask a cop, never going to see why you don't need AR-15. But hopefully after listening to that last segment, we may have a better understanding why you gotta have what they have. At the end of the day, if they got them, you need them. You know what I mean?
Said it yet, but do you own any AR-15?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I own multiple shotguns, all stashed in different locations. Hey, listen.
Look, war.
And
what it is good for?
And I've introduced my kids to all of them, and I take them to the range, and all of them can fire, and fairly well. So you know, it is what it is. Don't come. All right. Then number one pointed out the fact that the first gun reform came after the Black Panthers got guns, which is kind of what we were saying earlier. Yeah. You know, you want they'll but what B. Marsh said, and I think you said earlier, the reality of it is,
Todd Vick said it, yeah,
is that if they do try to control gun laws, we're the ones that's going to be affected, not them. And that's the reality of it. All right, so top 5. Do another oldie but goodie, and I'm gonna do some more older top 5s for our faithful listeners, because some of these were never caught on the new system, and so have been shared. You know what I mean? So we're gonna do some old ones here that we've done before, but they weren't captured properly and shared. So with that being said, top 5. And because we got a young lady here with a young, entertaining son, your top 5 childhood actors. Your top 5 childhood actors of all time.
I go on that, but I got to go.
Gary Coleman.
Go ahead.
What,
Okay,
5 of
four
them?
more. You got 4 more.
Okay. Well, we can go on that list. Gary Coleman, Tatiana Ali.
Going to be a beautiful woman.
What's his name?
Yes, she
What's
is.
his name? Who is Willin?
Yes, she is.
Well, I'm glad I made your night. So who is Willis? Todd Bridges.
Todd Bridges.
Well, we have the Raven Simone.
It's a good one.
And I need one more, right? Malcolm Jamal Warner, who is fine today. I don't know how fine he was back in the day, but he's fine today.
Theo. It's funny to see him act this, look at him on the Cosby Show, then mess around and see him
now
on the show. You'd be like, man, that is Theo. That is
He
crazy.
doing all his music and stuff. It's like, whoa. Yeah, I never looked at him that way.
That's a good
Now,
five.
Okay, I'll go.
five musicians. Let's, I'll leave it alone.
I'll go next. I don't remember the names, but Rerun, who passed recently.
Oh, refund.
Fred Berry.
Fred Berry, okay. Welcome Back, Carter, the whole cast. It was just funny. I'm telling my age again. The Black Janet Jackson.
Did you say the black Janet Jackson?
He didn't.
Well, the features, I should say.
So-
The Black
He said the
featured
future.
Janet Jackson.
So Penny.
Penny.
Penny, okay.
Penny, yeah, Penny. That's what? Four?
That's three.
Three. I go with Gary Coleman and really, I ain't gonna tell my age that much.
Write mine down.
The cartoon, Bill Cosby's cartoon. Yeah, Fat Albert, the cast, because it was,
The cartoon characters?
No, I'm saying that because think about it.
That was all the voices. You
But
cheating, man. You cheating.
Fat Albert, because all it,
They were all
Yeah.
Bill Cosby.
I'm a Bill Cosby fan. That was one of the think about it. That was the first show that depicted us as black people,
That's hilarious.
as black people, in a positive light.
So Bill Cosby
But
with his
that was
voice
child
as a
characters,
child.
though.
Right, and Bebe's kids.
Yeah.
Bebe's kids as well.
Yeah, might want to throw baby in there, right?
Peanut Gallery, shut up.
Dwayne, what you got?
Well, y'all took everybody. Nah, I ain't even thinking about it. Macaulay Culkins, Home Alone. The dude, the Jet Rodriguez from Sandlot. I love that movie. Y'all hear Shadid from Blackish and what is it? Grown. Y'all hear Shadid?
Okay.
From that series. Dang. The other girl from the series too. What's the,
You have a microphone? Oh, okay. I can barely hear you.
Diane.
Dwayne be talking like this.
From Blackish. Yeah, she's dope too. Yeah, she's dope. And then last but not least, I'll think of a childhood actor. I got one for you. Lil Romeo.
Romeo.
Yeah, Lil Romeo.
Being overseas, what was that channel called?
AFN.
What's that one? Baby, Mary
All right.
and shit like that.
Let's see.
Gilligan's Island.
Bottom to the top, Raven Simone, Brandon T. Jackson, Shia LaBeouf, and my top, he gonna be at top 2. Richard Rashad, he was on 1 and 1, and Cousin Skeeter, light skin with green eye. That was my dog. What else he was on?
Hey man, you already gave yours. Stop that, there.
I didn't know any of
Talking
it.
over those.
I didn't know none of what you said. Yeah, I watch you, Penny. Dude, I stopped watching cartoons when
Yeah.
I watched
All right,
Big Valley.
you bowing out, Phoenix?
Exactly. Yeah.
You bowing out? I see it.
Urkel.
There you go, just screaming out.
Urkel, yeah, Urkel.
Yes.
Yeah, Urkel's funny.
I shouldn't even
shit.
said nothing.
Look, now I gotta take him off.
I ain't taking them off. I can't think of another. What you got, Teasy?
All right, I got Jimmy Walker, JJ.
Yeah.
Yep.
They were already about
Yeah.
16, 17.
Yeah,
About 17,
yeah.
I think we started. So.
Actually,
you the oldest one on the show, though.
Actually, right, he might have been a grown man when
Yeah,
he was doing it.
because he's only like
He was 20-something.
he's on like 5-6 year difference from John Amos. Their age ain't that big.
Yeah,
of a difference.
yeah, there wasn't that big of a difference. So, okay, Jimmy Walker playing a child.
All right.
George Gore. He's the kid from My Wife and Kids. He also played in Undercover, New York Undercover. He was the son in New York Undercover. Ron Howard, Richie Cunningham. He also was Opie. He was also Opie.
God, dog, man. I had Opie right here.
Moesha.
Yeah, I forgot that one.
Brandy. I said Moesha.
That's a good
And
one.
number one, man, I wanted to change it, but I got to go with Theo, Malcolm Jamal Warner, man. I love his transformation. I mean, what he did from that show to seeing him now, boy,
He worked it out.
got a hairline and everything. Because when he was in the Cosby Show, boy, he ain't had no hairline. It was just round.
Can I call one out? Because it's my
They had
cousin.
the teacher.
His name is Jahe Winston.
One was a college student.
All
Had a
right.
professor.
Yeah.
Professor, what was that show?
Yes.
You got
Mary, Proud Mary. There was the one that Kevin Hart did with. He was a guy
can't call.
that was helping the
Nah, it's all
paraplegic.
coming
That was his son in there. He was on New
Okay,
Edition story. He was Ralph.
You done gave your.
we do honorable mentions at the end.
Forget that shout out. I was thinking about back in the day. Okay, I'm sorry. Love you, cuz. Okay.
All right, my man Vic got Gary Coleman, Todd Bridges, Jimmy Walker, Janet Jackson as Penny, and Jamal White Urkel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jaleel. He got Jamal up here. Jaleel White. Yeah.
All right. Let me see if I can recalibrate some of mine real quick.
You got it. Hey.
Well, that's funny
Hey,
because
man.
B. Marsh brought that up right there.
Hey, yeah. Thelma now. Ooh, boy. For a
B.
whole
Marsh-
nother
B.
reason.
Marsh brought up Terrell Hicks from Bronx Tale.
Look,
Later she was Keisha
oh,
and Belly.
yeah. Yes.
I don't know if you said the other one, B. Marsh. In my screen, it is not showing up here.
But I'm going to tell you one.
Nah, stop. You already gave your 5. Stop. Come back later.
You
Hold
ain't
on.
going to come back with this one.
All right, we'll do that again, just in case.
Oh, Lord.
Kiki got Zach Morris, Rudy, Urkel,
Ah, Rudy, yeah.
Penny,
Yeah.
Okay.
and Tia and Tamara. Oh, good one. Tia and Tamara. I didn't think about those. That was a good one. And she got honorable mention the Full House twins. They grew up on that show, too.
Rich girls.
Number 1 got Todd Bridges, starred in Roots when he was a child. Oh, Bud on the Cosby Show. That's funny. Bud.
yeah.
And his name wasn't Bud. That's the funniest part about that whole skit. The child actor on Julia. Starred with One Life to Live. And the child actor who played Ray Charles as a little boy. Don't know their names. And she said Opie Cunningham. It's funny everybody called him Opie Cunningham. There's 2 different shows. That's what I call him too. Opie Cunningham. I wrote down my sheet. Opie Cunningham. Hilarious.
I had to look him up.
Honorable mention the Addams Family kids.
Yeah.
See, B. Marsh, we got the same ones, man. But I'm going to still say yours, too. B. Marsh got Kim Fields, Tootie on the Facts of Life.
Oh, forgot about Tootie.
See, that's all. Look, I got it on my list, too.
Forgot about Tootie.
Y'all working me on here, y'all. On the learning, they got Gary Coleman, Rudy on Cosby, Kim Fields, Jerry Mathis as the Beaver.
Yeah, that's.
Leave it to Beaver.
Y'all don't know
And
about
Opie on Andy Griffin.
Look, Vic said, who was the girl that went upstairs on Family Matters and never came back?
Now that's funny, Vic. She never came back, did she? That is hilarious, man. All right. I got one. At least I got one I don't think nobody mentioned. Emmanuel Lewis.
Yes.
Webster.
Exactly,
Yes.
and put them in the same person. Yeah.
I got another one nobody mentioned. Ricky Schroeder, Silver Spoons.
Yeah.
And he played a whole lot of stuff before that. Yeah, Ricky Schroeder. And then y'all worked me too hard on him. Gary Cole, one of the best child actors ever. Gotta give it to him. My girl Kyla Pratt, who also grew up to be a beautiful young lady. And Kim Fields.
You said Kyla Pratt. There's another little girl now, Khalees Spraggins. She's on the Upshaws. She's awful.
Yeah, I love the Upshaws too. That show is hilarious.
Didn't it just come out with a new season?
They finished the second half of the season.
Yeah, man, I got it.
Go home, Roger. Yeah, I know, right? Marcus Houston, yes. All right, that's the top 5. Great top 5, everybody. I think I read everybody.
Okay, so since you didn't say it,
all right, go for it.
Parker McKinnon.
Another name.
Remember I showed My Wife and Kids. As a grown woman, boy.
Hey, beautiful. Beautiful. Megan Good.
Oh, boy.
Megan been around forever, too, boy.
Right.
She aged like wine, too, boy.
Hey, it's hard to even picture the little kid, because I've been, yeah.
You know Megan.
Yeah, that grown Megan, boy.
Anytime you make Megan Thee Stallion, wherever Megan Thee Stallion used to be,
That grown
she would have been
Megan
a
something
star.
else.
Hey, man.
She would have been a child star.
Hey, look. Hey,
She would have been a
ask
child
Cop.
star. Megan Thee Stallion.
After we get done here,
She would have been. She would have been acting back then. She would have been a star.
after we get done here, I'm gonna show you Parker McKinnon as a kid, and then what she.
Yeah, he said, don't do that.
Just run straight to the top of your list.
Yeah, I seen it. Yeah, she's tough, man.
Angelo said, "That's who." No, man, that's her, bro.
B. March added one more. It says, homeboy little sister Logan Browning. She was in Bratz as a kid, then Dear White People the last few years. Dear White People's a good show too, man. I love that show.
Now, sadly,
should have said
the
the Wayans.
young, beautiful girl that was on the
weren't
LL
kids,
Cool
though.
J show, she was a good actress.
Yeah.
Yeah, really sad.
Nia can, Maya
Maya,
Cameron.
yeah.
Poor thing. She got strung out too, man. So sad. Bad.
That's happening.
Did she?
She got it back together now?
You know, she was at the hood where Harold was staying. Yeah, she had it bad, boy. Ooh, wee. Whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
So, Kat,
Say no more.
Yes.
go ahead and let people know where they can follow you at. If anything you want to put out, about Jalen, he's doing
yes.
and everything.
Okay. Of course, again, there's God Guys, where you guys are going to be there together. Jalen's playing a young kid on there, and you are one of the co-stars. But it's so awesome. He's going to have that. He is also invited to 7 Colors celebrating John Singleton, where he'll be doing some interviews and things.
Wow, that's cool.
He's doing a lot of work with the Harriet Tubman Museum. He's also going to be the kid that comes out of the Macon get-together program. They go to jail kind of thing. Kids get locked up, come out. I don't love that, but it happens, right? And it's good for the kids if it helps them, right? It might help too. So whatever happens, they come out, they hear his voice, and they understand what he's doing. They introduce that. So that's a great program. Chess and Community, right? That baby beat some. He worked chess. Okay, let me say just beat some because he's back here. But he's great with his Chess and Community. They have Chess and Community and Chess and Community Macon. Oh my, he's doing a lot. Amen.
Hey, come here, man. Come show your face real quick so people can see what we're
interview
talking about.
stuff
Real.
that he does.
Oh yes,
Stand
Jalen
behind your mom.
says.
Yeah,
take your mask off.
Jalen says live show on YouTube is JA J-A-L-E-N. Everybody wants to spell his name all kind of ways, but it's J-A-L-E-N. Very simple. Jalen Says live show on YouTube. It used to be on Facebook, and the followers were a lot higher, but he decided he wanted to check out the YouTube thing and do it that way. So that's what we've been doing, and he's doing great. He's had on all kind of everybody that's been here, right? George Wallace, Michael Koya.
Yeah, a lot of interviews.
Gerald.
A lot of interviews.
Yeah. So God is great. We haven't had you on yet, JT.
I was about to say that. I was about to say that.
I think I told you that. But
about to
God
say
is
that.
great, and you're coming.
But come over here and stand up so people can get a look at you, man. Come on over
Go
here.
over there with the men.
Go over here and look.
Oh, he said, how can they follow me? They
Look.
can follow me at
There you go. There you go. Let
Cat,
people see you. There you go.
K-A-T. No, I'm sorry. Is it Cat? Just Cat. J-U-S-T-K-A-T.
100.
100, yeah. And then for the Facebook, it is Cat Coles. So, thank you guys. I love being here. I had the
And
greatest
your
time.
Facebook is Jalen
Jalen Says
TV.
Yeah, Jalen Says TV on
There you go.
Facebook. Yeah.
Yep.
You can watch my live videos there as well. We're putting them back up on Facebook, and there's going to be a lot of stuff because recently I was. I had this opportunity to take pictures, interview a lot of people at this recent fashion show, so that will be up there too. So guys, stay tuned for that, and follow their podcast, and also if you have the time, go look up Jalen Says on YouTube and subscribe. It's free, and you know.
Speak on it. Free.
Free, people. It's free, man. It's free.
From you later.
Just hit the button. Hit the button and share it, please.
Young brother's well spoken.
Outstanding,
I like that.
Jalen. Yeah, it's cool, man. Great experience for him. Azakot, what you got, brother?
This is more on a serious note. Right now, everybody's listening to the governor is going to get a lot of people in trouble. Go ahead and still get your concealed carry permit. This is how it helps you. If you get into a shooting and you pull out a concealed carry permit, you're handled totally different on the scene. It shouldn't be that way, but you are. It lowers a lot of expectations. Also, if you travel like I do, it allows you to go to a lot of different states. If you have a permit, you can carry there. So it helps a lot. You can go to Florida. Anywhere in the South, you'll be able to go. So if you don't have that, now you're carrying a concealed weapon. And how many times have you just gotten so used to carrying your sidearm that you carry it and you get in the car and you drive over the state line and you get pulled over? Now you got a concealed weapon, criminal charge. Take the time to get that. And going back to firearms, have an honest discussion with yourself. Did you get a firearm because you saw that line when the news wanted to put it as a black issue? When everybody was buying those guns and the line was wrapped around the corner and everybody looked like us, there you go, he's got one. What did you do? You jumped in the line and got a firearm too. Do not own a firearm if you're not prepared to use it. It's useless and it's gonna probably end up hurting you. Also, make sure you get a way to take care of your firearm and secure it, because it's not just because you're single. You gotta think about if you're dating someone and they have a small child or your sister's child coming, there's too many tragedies that occur because people do not know how to secure their firearms or just don't. And that includes women putting firearms in their purse.
Outstanding. Real quick, number one, and they just added one more, and it's a good one too. Keke Palmer. Good one. And don't remember his name, but the kid that played and Everybody Hates Chris. Tyler, there you go. Tyler, yeah, that's two good ones right there.
He's on that dope show, Abbott Elementary.
Abbott Elementary, yeah.
Love that show.
Hilarious. I love
that
it.
show.
Yeah, I love it.
Hey, going off what Ascocop said, I just had a buddy of mine, great friend of mine, his fiance just lost her oldest son because he was rushing, realized he had left his gun upstairs, went, got his gun, put it in his pocket, and the gun ended up going off. It was an accident. The gun ended up going off, and it shot himself, of course, but it hit an artery, so he ended up bleeding
Probably
out.
femoral artery.
Yeah, he ended up bleeding out. So again, as you said, sometimes people can get you. I'm sure, because I know my boy, so I'm sure that he was trained, but he was in a rush and didn't do what he was supposed to do, and ended up killing himself.
Rushing the firearms do not go together. And take the time, if you ever reach under your seat or reach somewhere to get a firearm and it hangs up, don't put a sunroof in your car that wasn't designed to have a sunroof. Because if we look at the number of times they're called out to scenes when somebody narrowly misses somebody or misses a child or the gun goes off and hits between two people and things like that, guns aren't anything to play with. They have one purpose, well, besides sporting, and that's to take a life.
All right. Yeah, I read those off. I forgot the beginning, but I'm gonna do it at the end. C's Candles, one of our sponsors, C's Candles, and Cat Beads, beads and bracelets, doing her thing. Shout out #1 fan, boy. She sold so many this weekend of them bracelets. It was outstanding. And Glenn wanted to shout us out because they've gotten some hits for the candles, and they sold candles. Somebody asked for a whole big order. So folks watching, they checking us out. They seeing the sponsorship. So if you want to sponsor Klassic Konversations, you hit us up at the email. Right now we're doing the comedy ATL Uptown Comedy Corner at Gmail. You can DM. You can hit us on the IG. The what's the other thing we got? Facebook and TikTok. I always forget that darn TikTok. Boy. I've been trying to say Twitch for some reason. TikTok. You can hit us up on any of those. You know what I mean? Get some advertising in. And guess what? We got the folks to do the filming for you. G&J Media. Hey. Y'all see all the videos, all the clips, all the recordings. Hey, man, they hook you up. You want to get your commercial shot. You talk to them about the prices because I ain't got to do with that part. But, hey. But tell them you saw it on Klassic Konversations, man. I'm sure they're going to show you some love.
And I'm going to put this out there about them. I was going to ask them, but I'm sure that they can do it. You guys can do acting reels, right? So there it is. All of my acting friends out there, if you need your reel redone, like me, get with them. Telling you. I just thought about it yesterday. I need to get my reel redone, so I'm going to be putting them to work. Get ready.
Oh, yeah, she sold out all my son's candy in one night. Boom, all gone. And it was so quick. #1, he brought another box home I got to sell.
That's one thing. Your kids sell a box quick, they get another one. You get another one.
He tried to win this contest. Sure. But for me, again, shout out to my boy Clay. Rest in peace. Love this brother. Appreciate Brother Tyler Perry coming through the club. That was a real big moment for everybody. And it was just cool to see him walking through the doors, man. You just saw him walk down the aisle, and everybody staring and said, "Is that Tyler Perry? Is that Tyler Perry?" It was just, it was wild. But you never know who's going to come through these doors of Uptown Comedy Corner. Got my man Shawty headline this weekend from Streets 94.5. So it's going to be a great weekend. And that's all I got.
Get yourself some rich friends.
Get yourself some rich friends.
Another sponsor. Make sure you get at them. For me, as she said, God Guys Play. Father's Day weekend. Just go on Eventbrite. Tickets are $35. I don't think any more specials are coming out, so I know some of you are waiting for some more specials. They're not. $35. So it's Father's Day weekend, 2 shows on that Saturday, 2 shows on that Sunday. I'm also in another one, Deception Lies in Deceit. Excuse me. That's going to be July 15th. That's with a young lady out of D.C. She's bringing her play down this way. She did a whole Atlanta cast for that. Season 3, BMF. Look for your boy. Yeah. I got to go get that COVID test tomorrow. I'll be on set on Thursday. Yep, you know, they always put me in the strip club, dog. You know, they know I can throw some money that I can get back. I'm good at that, boy. I can throw it out there, then take it back, and throw it out there again. Boy, I'm a perfectionist at that. So that's it for me right now, man. Guess that's gonna do it for us tonight, bro. We getting this hard stop again. Where we at? Woo, boy, before 12 o'clock. Y'all don't understand. We've been out here 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning before. Luckily, it's not raining, so we can get up out of here. So with that being said,
and we're gonna talk about the the books.
Yes.
Next week. We're gonna start with that next week.
Yes,
so
the Florida governor is really tearing the educational system and keeping kids from being able to read about history. We're going to talk about that next week. And the way they're doing it, sometimes it's just from the title of a book. They're taking them off the shelves. So with that being said, Classic Conversations with Jae Tea and Lo.
And that's a cop.
And we out. You dig?
Which way to rap? Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. It's classic conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is gonna go. It's classic conversations with Jae Tea and Lo. You never know which way the rhetoric is going. Classic conversations with Jae Tea and Lo.